Welcome back to Battle School Dropouts, a podcast about anime and friendship, and we love tennis.
Oh, I love tennis.
Because they use that's a 0 in tennis when it's like 30 to 0.
Love. I actually, honestly, I 40 tennis.
You 40 tennis?
I 40 tennis.
Damn.
Yeah. Not all the way with it, but yeah, you fucking suck, dude.
Well, if I 40 tennis, then we both deuce tennis. That's how tennis works.
That's
folks.
cool. We could deuce tennis together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds weird.
No, it's normal. it's just you get 2 to 4 tennis players just deucing it out.
Just deuce it, you know?
Yeah.
So you just got to deuce it with your boys.
Yeah. Deuces, everybody.
My name's Bakari.
Oh, and I'm Stew. I'm the other half of this podcast.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. This week this episode we're watching. We watched 6 episodes of the show Prince of Tennis. If that makes the tennis love make any more sense, we watched the first 6 episodes of 2001. Great show.
Yeah.
Or prolific show, I should say.
They don't know the prince is left-handed.
Ooh, they don't.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Except it happens like every episode.
Every goddamn episode. No, I'm doing great. Had a good time watching the show. And now we just get to hang out. We get to catch up, and then we'll talk about the show. If anybody's coming in for the first time, we're not going to talk about the anime for a while.
No,
so
yeah, you got some time.
Or look at the timestamp.
Strap in, get a snack or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I've had a weird, a very action-packed couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been about like a month since we recorded.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, I opened my little booklet that I used to keep notes during the show, and the last date was like 3/25.
Oh, no way, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little over a month. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said couple of weeks. I guess it's been longer.
Yeah.
Let's see. I started a judo class and then I got hurt and then I went to VGM Con while still hurt, and that was a lot of fun, but being hurt there was not as fun.
How did you get hurt?
So I went to a judo class.
Okay. A lot of throwing in judo.
Yeah, there is a lot of throwing. But I was brand new, and so they didn't throw me. They got up to the point where I would have gone over the shoulder, but then they stopped. If they just bent forward a few more degrees, I would have gone over.
I feel like they should throw you. You should know what you're getting into.
I was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
I was like, not once. Come on.
I paid for this class and you didn't throw me once.
Yeah. They just demonstrated their ability to, which is very humbling. I was partnered up with this guy, super nice dude, half my size. And he was just kind of demonstrating so you kind of grab him like this and you step in and then you just you do that, you kind of bend and you do this, and then as he says do this, all of a sudden I'm off my feet and on his shoulder and I'm like, oh crazy, put me down please. I was kind of draped over his shoulder like a Santa Claus sack,
which is kind of a funny thing too, because I've been pushed, but I don't think I've been thrown by a person as an adult.
Yeah.
That sounds, now that I'm thinking about it sounds weird.
It's a lot, yeah. I have not yet either just yet, but I've been.
Oh.
Well, so they were.
You got to pay more for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the premium package. No, the first day, and I suspect the next several classes, were it was basically learning how to fall, because that's something you're going to do a lot. And if you say you get thrown, you're heading towards the ground with great force, and if you catch yourself like this or something, or
with your arm, your hand pointed towards
directly onto the your arm perpendicular to the ground, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Or say you land on your elbow or something, that force can go right up your arm and dislocate your shoulder, or break your wrist, or all this other stuff. So it's paramount that you understand how to position yourself when you're falling. And so they were teaching me this, and it was so learning to fall on my back, and it's from a seated position, then a squatted position, and then a standing position, and then on the side, same thing, and on the front. And it was just so much falling down and getting up, and falling down and getting up, and falling down and getting up. It was like cracked out burpees. It was a lot.
Oy,
and so great core workout, right? And the next day, I'm like, oh man, I'm really we hung out the next day. That was that Friday. Was the day
recorded,
after.
Yeah.
We didn't record. No, we went to the cider place.
We played Gears of Woke.
Yes,
yeah,
we played.
Yeah.
We played. Yeah, exactly. I forgot about it. Yeah. So
Gears of 4 for the uninitiated.
Yeah, they can't they can't call them glowies anymore because of woke. Literally 1984. Terrible game.
What have they done to us?
But and I was probably complaining like, oh man, I'm sore, but like whatever, like totally normal. Yeah. It turns out I had caught a cold. Glad to know it doesn't sound like it got to you.
No, I was fine.
Perfect. Yeah, wonderful.
Perfectly healthy other than allergies.
Yeah, so I caught a little, and it was whatever. Like, started feeling it maybe Friday night, Saturday morning, and then I, was in bed like Saturday night, Sunday, most of the day, back to work by Monday, like whatever. Totally normal little bug. But I was coughing a lot, and my stomach, my ab muscles were already like very, very like strained or whatever. And so like that took it from like, ooh, I'm sore to like, ouch, I am injured. To the point like I sneezed and it felt like my guts were gonna fall out, like that dream sequence in Akira, like
yeah.
It felt like a zipper had been unzipped like right here below my belly button. It was awful.
I know what you mean. There's something weird about like your core, and like I don't know about for you, but like if I touch like the bottom of my tummy here, there's like rings almost, or like ridges kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, like it does feel like when your core is really like worked out, like those are like too taut. It's like I could pop, I could burst.
Exactly.
My organs are trying to get out of
it.
Me
felt
right
like
now.
I burst, like it felt like it happened.
Oh
yeah, so I was definitely like I was hurting for quite some time. I had a lot of like heating pads and just trying to stay still as much as possible. But I had already bought plane tickets and a hotel room and everything for VGM Con. So I was like, no, I'm not doing Sonic Symphony is not happening again. I'm getting on that motherfucking plane. So I packed my bag full of, everything I could to try and make the pain as not bad as possible.
Felicia put you on like one of those stretchers and just rolled you onto the airplane.
Yeah, exactly. No, because that was like a week later. So it was like, or, several days later anyway. And so like, it was tough. There were certain points like I was walking up the stairs totally normal, and like I kind of my toe bumped the top step just a little bit. I stumbled the tiniest amount. Like any other day I'd be like, oh, got myself. Anyway, moving on. But like that was enough to put me in a lot of pain. I'm like, I'm going back to my hotel room. All right.
I'm gonna sit down for a while.
Yeah, which thankfully I was staying at the hotel where the place the event was going on. So like at any time I could retreat to my rooms for an hour. I watched a lot of bad movies on the TV and stuff. It was fine.
Nice to get away from it.
Yeah.
I watched. Have to then walk back. Hella. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't have to Uber or anything like that. It was very like come and go as I please. Aside from that, though, VGM Con was amazing. That was so much fun.
What core exercise? How many times did you get thrown at VGM Con?
0 times, actually. I only threw people, and they weren't expecting it. I just
this is what I've been learning.
I would see a band play, and then I would walk up and shake their, hey man, that was great, and then just
I'm the guitarist now.
Watanage right over the shoulder. They're just gone. Yeah. That was a great time. I saw a lot of amazing bands.
So what is VGM Con?
VGM Con, Video Game Music Con, is it's a convention for composers and enthusiasts and such. It's just a weekend where everyone hangs out and talks about and plays video game music.
Is it a pretty big convention?
It's
like SAC
bigger than SAC Anime, smaller than Fanime.
Bigger than SAC Anime. Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Like maybe it's about SAC Anime sized actually.
Damn,
maybe
that's bigger than I would have thought.
Yeah, and it's just it's nice that it's not much bigger than that because I feel like the big conventions, we've talked about it as we get older, like cons are kind of draining, and this is a very chill one. Like people weren't being super obnoxious or nothing. Like I'd be walking around in my Sonic sweater or whatever, and people would, go, hey, like that sweater. Thanks, man. Well, you like Sonic? Yeah, I like Sonic. We just chat about Sonic, super chill.
Yeah. It's not the weird things that come of a convention that we were talking about last episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you all my Sonic war theories.
Yeah, no, it was super chill. What's your favorite Sonic game? Oh, well, I really like Adventure 2, but I used to speedrun some Generations, so I don't know, back of it, just like real chill, like whatever.
Yeah. A conversation as opposed to a lecture.
Yeah. People were like very normal, just across the board. Like everyone was chill. I don't think I had one bad experience, and look, you're out there, and I know you're watching. Whoever fucking charged their cheeseburger to my hotel room, I'm gonna get you.
Ooh, that's rough.
It was
That's
like
mean.
it was like $16. Like, it's not the end of the world. But like, I was like looking at the receipt after I checked out of the hotel.
1 hour of minimum wage here in California.
Yeah, unless you work at a fast food place, and I guess they have a different
It's
minimum
different
wage
now.
now.
Yeah. All I know is I don't.
Good
get
for
that.
them, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking at my receipt, and I was like, I went up to the front desk. I was like, hey, there's a thing about a food thing on my receipt. I don't think that should be there. And they were just like, oh, from the restaurant. And I was like, no, I never went to the restaurant. I just never did. And they were just like, oh, someone gave them the wrong room number, I guess. And I was like, okay. Is there not much we can do about that?
Do I just have to eat it? Like what? There should be some kind of verification there.
They should at least ask for a name.
Yeah.
You should at least be able to rip me off personally, because I didn't tell anybody which hotel room I was in. So like,
yeah.
I don't think it was like a personally malicious thing. Maybe they were in, I was in 4015. I can say that now. I'm not in the state anymore. Maybe they were like 4016 and the person misheard. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
But whoever did that, I'm gonna get you. Doesn't matter
yeah.
if it was a mistake.
We've got a new. We're gonna have a board of people we got to get vengeance on.
Exactly.
That's number 1 right at the top.
That's top of the list. I'm gonna get that cheeseburger back.
I'm gonna get that cheeseburger back by force. It's like that part in Temple of Doom, but instead of pulling out the heart, it's like a
Exactly.
cheeseburger.
It's just a cheeseburger. It's still beating though
Yeah,
for
it's
some
still
reason.
beating.
Yeah. Yeah, no, VGM Con was a lovely time. I'm hoping to go back next year.
Was it like a lot of? Did you go to like a lot of panels, or was it like a lot of?
There were some panels.
playing,
If you're familiar with like 8-bit music theory, he was there.
Oh, I thought you were about to be like, are you familiar with 8-bit music theory, as in like
Yeah.
the music theory concept?
Yeah, you understand
Yeah.
scale degrees and things like
Yeah,
that, right?
and-
So you know what a full cadence is, right?
I know 16-bit, but not 8-bit. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
go down a step.
Starts at the Famicom or Super Famicom.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was 8-bit music theory is a YouTube channel that talks about music theory in video games. So like they'll be like, the Lonely Rolling Star from Katamari Damacy, this is how it sounds so nice, and they'll go into like the chord progressions and the notes and all the different stuff. It's really, really neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, he did a live presentation like talking about the Mario Sunshine soundtrack and like leitmotifs and stuff in it. There were a lot of really cool bands and stuff, which I didn't get to see nearly as much of as I would have wanted to, just because I had to be in my hotel room and watch shitty movies instead. I watched.
Because your body was trying to like die.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm trying not to further injure myself on this trip. So
fair.
I watched Why Did I Get Married 2 by the Tyler Perry movie. I was not familiar with Tyler Perry's game. That is the Black Neil Breen right there. he is onto something. It's fast. Like I was thinking like me and Felicia and Bernadette and Stu need to get together and watch this movie, because oh my god.
Oh no.
It
Yeah.
is something.
I definitely like know the name Tyler Perry, but like I don't think I've heard about any of his movies since like there were like 8 Medea movies.
Medea.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Understandable, yeah.
But there were like 4 of those in like the span of like 2 years.
I think they're
that were all,
still
like, big
happening
releases.
to some degree.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't just get rid of somebody that popular.
Yeah, exactly. And he does a lot of shows as well too. I think like he's all over TBS. They love him over there.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so like I'd go down to the like one of the concert halls or whatever, or like the ballroom, whatever it's called, and like there would just be like there was a one of my favorites that I saw was called Tumbao Multiplayer, and they were a salsa band. Like they did, yeah. So they were like doing Pokemon and Earthbound and stuff like that, but like salsa style. It was so
That's
sick.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to see my buds Ian and Carrie from the band By Score, and also Carrie's band Premium Vintage. They both of those bands played. They were all sick. Premium Vintage did like a full like metal like series of like a metal album of Hades, essentially, like the Hades soundtrack.
That's good. That's such a killer soundtrack.
It's so good, yeah.
Yeah.
That like the thing I can say about like them specifically, both like Premium Vintage's work and By Score's work, is it makes me realize how much I like certain game soundtracks that maybe I didn't appreciate as much before. Because we played Anime Aliens, we played with By Score at Cafe Colonial a couple of months ago or whatever, and they played Boomer Kawanger's theme from Mega Man X.
Yeah.
The first one. And I was like, this song fucks, and I just didn't realize before.
Well, when you're trying to like dodge and like not get killed and whatnot, like I can appreciate a song for how it like hypes me up or gets me excited. You asked me to like recall the notes. I need to have played the shit out of that game.
That's a
in
good
order to, like,
point.
Be able to do it. Like I can kind of do the Skyrim like big thing because when I level up in the middle of nowhere. Because I discovered someplace or I shot a chicken with a fireball. And, there's the thing.
Yeah.
There's the sound. Okay.
Totally. I can do that with the. I've proven my ability to do this with the original like Sonic 1, 2, 3 and Sonic and Knuckles within like about a second. If you play me 1 second of like any song from any of those, like I can pretty consistently.
I think we got our next like video idea. like we'll see how quickly you can name different Sonic.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
we got to put you on camera, put you to the test.
Yeah. No, I'm down. I will throw down with that anytime. I need to play more Sonic CD so I can add that to the rotation.
Oh,
yeah. And there's 2 different soundtracks. The Japanese and the US ones have different soundtracks too. So.
Oh, if you could nail both of those, I feel like you just like ascend to a new like you're going like Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Super Sonic 2.
Yeah. I'm the fat, overly muscly Super Saiyan. It's like a little more than Super Saiyan, but not quite Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah.
Like Super Vegeta. Yeah, that's me right now. I'm strong, fat Super Saiyan. Or Strong Fat Supersonic. That's a band name.
Strong Fat Supersonic. That's there's something there. That's a band.
Yeah,
that's something.
I think so. It's at least an album name or something.
At least an album name.
Yeah,
it's too good to not be that.
Exactly. I also, for the first time and probably last time in my life, I flew first class to go there and back. I had like the perfect. I was like on.
Did you now?
Like I just found the Delta website at the perfect time. Like it was, not that much more than I was anticipating to pay for economy because airfare is expensive as hell in general.
Yeah.
So it's like I could pay, I think like $400 or whatever for like a shittier flight at like a worse time in economy, or I could pay like I think like $550 or something like that for first class, like at a better time. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. First class is fine. Yeah,
nice.
A little fancy. I'm balling a little bit.
Wait, tell me about the experience.
The chairs are comfier and they're further apart. That's the most important thing.
That's big.
Yeah. They bring you snacks either way, but they're a little more prompt with the snacks.
Hey.
That's cool.
Okay. Do you drink on flights?
I don't.
Okay.
You can, but I don't.
Yeah.
There was Wi-Fi. I don't know if you get Wi-Fi. If you're not, I feel like you could get into the Wi-Fi really easily.
I think they charge for the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Like at least I've only ever really flown Southwest.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, you can jump on the Wi-Fi. It's like, $10 per minute. That kind of insanity.
Yeah. So the Wi-Fi was included, as were my bags. Like,
you
could check 2 bags and then you get the carry-on as well. So like that, I didn't have to pay for any of that. So like, even thinking about that, I'm like, how much. It wasn't that big of a difference. And again, perfect timing. It's not like I was gonna ball out. Like if it was at like $1,000 or something, of course I wouldn't have done that.
No, yeah.
Which is usually the case. Like those tickets are really expensive. But we were talking about it before. My legs are just a little too long for like regular airplane seats. My knees are jammed up into the back of the seat, which used to be like a little more tolerable, but I'm old and creaky, and that can be real uncomfortable.
You're gonna be first class forever.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, what you got to do is you got to get because if you fly Southwest, they let people get on the plane at like different intervals, right?
Oh yeah.
You got to get on that first one, and then you got to sit by the emergency door because then you can be the guy next to the emergency door, and you get more leg room.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. You could be like those weird guys that are just way too ready to do it. Like, you need me to land this plane? You need me to pull the emergency door?
I'll do any of it.
You're ready.
That's the thing, I've had that. I think I chickened out of it one time. I think like there was a time where it was like, you have to like, I was like, okay, this legroom seat, I'll take that. And it was like, if we have an emergency, you must be prepared. And this was before I understood deep in my soul that I could land an airplane if I needed to. So I was like, I don't know. Am I going to be? I'll just take the other seat.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You make it sound too serious.
I love the idea of you, not that this is the case, but that you would be like, yeah, I could totally land a plane, but I can't pull the
open that
emergency
door. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's too much pressure.
It requires far less brawn to land a plane, I think.
Apparently, it's not super hard to pull those doors out because some
Oh, really?
weird guy just pulled one off in a flight a year ago or whatever.
That was because the Boeing it was a faulty.
Oh, I thought it was
jet or
just a
something
guy
that.
just did it.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different thing. It's entirely possible.
Boeings have been falling apart left and right.
Yeah,
so.
and I was on a Boeing, so I was ready to land that motherfucker if need be.
If you're flying American, there's a good chance that you're flying a Boeing.
Yep. So, yeah. But yeah, overall great trip. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. You literally are required to.
That's it. They'll get you otherwise.
They'll get you otherwise.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic trip. Tons of fun. Yeah. How about what you been up to?
What I've been up to? No conventions. Nothing too exciting. I've just been working out. That's kind of been my thing. I'm sure I look a lot slimmer on the camera today.
You kind of do, actually. I mean, I don't know about on the camera, but you do look like
I better cameras.
Yeah.
You better be doing me service. Yeah. No, I've been. Friend Will was like, hey, I'm going to start this. There's this app called Gym Rats that I've been using. And it's basically you join it. And anytime you do, you walk, you run, you do whatever, you log what it is. And then you get points for it. And so we've been competing to for points and all that. And it's that's the motivation apparently I needed.
That's all you need?
Ever since I left my job a year and a half ago, I was like, I've got a little more time on my hands. I'm going to work out this morning. And I never did for a year.
Yeah.
Up until now it's a competition. Okay, now I'll work out and all that.
That really is such a motivating factor is competing with people. I'm the exact. It's the reason why I'm at this judo place now is because my kickboxing gym had closed down and I was just well, what am I going to just pick shit up and put it back down or go for runs or what? No, fuck no. I must be fighting somebody.
I need to get thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a weird motivator. I was telling a couple people in the app, I was like, we have to, it's basically who can score the most points from, I think we started end of March and it's until the end of May. And
cool.
It's whoever gets the most points in that time. I'm starting June, I need it to be there still. Otherwise I know I'll just stop.
Yeah.
I'll be I'll keep it going, I guess. And then
maybe I kind of want to get in on the next round. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's rough though because everybody in it was oh, this is gonna be super casual.
Yeah.
We're only competing for bragging rights or whatever, and everybody's just been gunning it. Brendan, who's been on the show, is just a absolute machine.
Really?
I knew he ran and I knew he worked out, and I know he's been upping it since Gym Rats a bit, but the dude can run. He posted the other we played basketball yesterday and he went for a 5-mile run before it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's insane. I'm pushing myself and I just hit 2 miles last week.
Hey, nice.
So I feel really good about that, but that's as far as I can go. He can more than double me and then go play basketball.
Wow. That's very impressive.
Yeah, it's insane.
Good job, Brendan.
Yeah, it's so it's everybody. I got kind of depressed for a week, and I didn't work out.
Sure.
And I'm so fucking behind. Everybody's just been gunning it. So
no time for feelings, Stu. Yeah. You got to get in there.
100%. Yeah. So there's just there's a couple other people who joined a little later, and I just have to stay ahead of them because if I fall behind them, then it's fine. However, I had such a lead before they joined.
Yeah.
But then I tweaked my knee and I kind of hurt myself at basketball a little bit. So I was I'll work out today. I'm I guess I won't.
I feel
I'm fine, but also
yeah, getting started working out is so much harder in your 30s, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try very hard in my day-to-day not to think of because I'm turning 33 next month, and pretty much it's the 30th, so I turned less than a month. I turned 33, and I keep trying to think about it it's 33 years old. It's nothing,
yeah,
it's whatever. It's in the grand scheme of things. I'm not even taxonomically middle aged for 2 more years. So apparently that's the cutoff somewhere. It's 35, which seems weird, but
taxonomically,
categorically. Like there's people who will like there some science or whatever refer to like 35 as like the beginning of middle age.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it is for me. So
Yeah. So,
I've always said that I'm going to live to be 72. So 36 is my middle age.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, happy almost half lifespan.
Yeah, I
time.
know, right? Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I try not to think, but like that is one thing, like your body needs more maintenance, your body needs a bit more care.
Yeah.
And exercise is a huge part of that. But like going from not exercising to exercising back in like, in the early 20s, whatever, man. I want to get into running, I'll get into running. And yeah, I'll be wheezing by the end of it, but like I feel good, whatever. Now it's like, oops, I started without warming up properly and I didn't stretch and whatever. And like, I slept a little wrong, whatever, what have you. And like now I'm disabled for a week. Great. Wonderful.
Yeah, the stuff is a little more lasting. It's also like I've never been good about stretching before and after an exercise.
It's so boring.
And yeah, it's boring. Who gives a shit? I'm ready to do my thing.
Yeah.
And it's like now I'm feeling it. When I was younger, it didn't matter. Now that I'm older, and it's like I think the other part that's harder, at least for me, is like there have been I can look at 2 points in my life where I've been like in solid shape.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm nowhere close to those times, like now, like I've only been doing it for like a month, but
sure.
Like, there was when I was in high school, I played the drums every day for years.
That's a workout.
And I played for like 2 hours
a
day, so like I was really getting a workout. And like I remember being able to I ran a mile in like 7 or 8 minutes.
Nice.
And I was like not even like winded or anything. I was just like, I could do more.
Yeah.
And then like years later, like I was trying to do like the One Punch Man workout, and I worked my way up to like 100 crunches, 100 push-ups, all that jazz. And
it was 10K run was the other thing.
Yeah, I think the run was the only thing I didn't do.
Sure.
Just because I didn't want to.
Understandable.
But yeah, like I look at those times, and then I try to do like sit-ups or core workouts now, and I'm like, I can do like 10.
Yeah.
Sit-ups, it's like God, it's demoralizing to a certain extent.
It's tough, for sure. Yeah, no, 100% feel you. I definitely, looking back, like there were times when I was in pretty solid shape and just didn't really appreciate it. Like, because back then,
that's
like,
a good way of putting it.
Yeah, like I was like boxing or something like that, and I was like, I was running a couple miles in about like 14, 15 minutes every night, and like just feeling pretty good. I'd go to boxing 3 times a week, all this other stuff. And I'd be like, man, when I'm in good shape, I'm going to feel great about this, but like back then it was always working towards something else. And like, I never thought to be like, yeah, I'm doing pretty well compared to how I've been in the past.
Yeah.
And now that I'm like that version of me is a complete stranger, like I'm not that anymore. Now I'm like, fuck, dude, I could run 2 miles I can't run 2 miles. You asked me to run. It doesn't matter. No time qualifier needed. I can't run 2 miles.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It's not the cardio even. It's like my feet and my shins just suck. They suck ass.
They don't hold up. Yeah.
I'm built like Dr. Eggman, dude. I got this big ass fucking torso and weirdly slender arms and legs, and these weirdly slender legs just cannot carry this Eggman torso. Well, how did that guy run as fast as Sonic in the end of Sonic 2 is what I'm wondering.
I think it's also tougher because I think you and I and a lot of our friends are all like beer drinkers and whatnot, and we're settling into like that look that like every dude who's like getting in shape or whatever just has, where it's like, yeah, your legs and your arms might be in shape, but you're always gonna have that gut.
Yeah.
And that gut, well, it'll get stronger. Like you'll have good core or whatever, but you're always gonna have that gut.
Yeah.
Like we're all
baby.
like slowly in an Animorph style transforming into Dr. Eggman. Like we're all moving.
It's like carcinization. Like everything becomes crab. We all become Dr. Eggman.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and Dr. Eggman was fast.
He was.
Yeah.
He ran as fast as Sonic.
Yeah. So it's like we'll be in shape, but we just won't, like, you see those like fucking buff dudes like at the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like we'll never look like them.
I'll never.
This is here forever. We'd have to give up beer, and that's just not happening for a lot of us.
The funny thing is, I don't even drink that much these days. I'll have like a nightcap, like a little glass of whiskey every once in a while. That's about it. I don't drink beer like. This is where I drink beer.
Well, I guess it's less of a beer thing if it's probably more of a carbs thing.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
I love me some carbs.
I love some fucking. We just ate so much pizza.
So much,
too. Like,
it's true. But we're being sensible. We're not DoorDashing, McDonald's or Carl's Jr. or anything anymore. We're saving money. We're doing good.
Saving money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell myself, yeah, I'm never gonna use DoorDash again. You know, it's not a sustainable business. It's not all this stuff, blah blah blah. And then I get that notification, or I get that little bit of lazy. I'm like, well, you know, I could use some mac and
It's
cheese
always
right
something.
now. They always fucking get me, man.
We DoorDashed
I'm
from
not immune to
Rubio's.
propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. Like it feels like, I don't mean to trivialize anybody's like struggle with addiction or anything like that, but like it feels like a real and honest relapse when that happens. Because like I swore off, I deleted, I uninstalled the app, I did the whole nine because me and Felicia, we ordered Rubio's, and like they gave us a call like 20 minutes later.
Rubio's is like that Mexican place.
It's like, yeah, it's like a Mexican seafood, fish tacos type of stuff.
Yeah.
And they called me like 20 minutes later, and they were like, "Hey, we don't have Felicia ordered like an Impossible burrito or whatever," and they were like, "We don't have the Impossible meat. Do you want veggies?" And I asked Felicia, and she was like, "Oh, I'll get like chicken or something instead." And they're like, "We don't have chicken either, and also we don't have the steak to make your burrito." And I was like, "What do you have?"
What?
And then like after, and like, so we finally figured out some substitutes that would work for everybody. I can't remember what. I got some shrimp burrito or whatever. She got something else. And then another 20 minutes later, 40 minutes since I placed the order, they canceled it. This is the whole thing. I'm like, fuck DoorDash. Never again. No. But I'm in a hotel in Minneapolis. I have not rented a car. This is where VGM Con happened.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I got to eat something and I can't go anywhere. So I reinstalled DoorDash. And you know what? I got Dash Pass while I was at it because it made sense. I was going to save more money than the monthly fee.
Yeah.
And now that I'm back, I have DoorDash since. It's tough, man.
It's tough.
It's dumbest fucking problems to have. I'm like,
it's the most first world problem. There's a John Oliver video that was talking about it, and basically at the end of it, the conclusion was like, these businesses are super unsustainable.
Yeah,
the businesses are losing money, and the people who work it are getting paid worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
but for the consumer, it's like this is the only time where it'll be potentially like an affordable thing.
Yeah.
Because like if it cost as much as it should cost, none of us would use it.
No.
You know?
Like it costs too much already, but like it's still not enough like to be solvent.
It is like too good to be true.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, yeah, it still costs a fortune, but like it should cost more. For how much infrastructure and all this shit that goes into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Gig economy shit is terrible. And it's like conversations like this that remind me like, no, it's more than just a convenience thing. I really should stay the course just because that's what I believe in. But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm a dumb little piggy, and sometimes I want food way too late and I don't want to go get it.
And it's tough once you're already kind of using it too.
Yeah.
Like I don't use Amazon. I don't shop at Walmart. Like I try to avoid a lot of like big companies when I can.
Yeah.
You know, fast fashion. Like I try to do what I can, but it's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, don't shop Amazon, because I never really have shopped Amazon.
Yeah,
like, collectively, I've bought like maybe 5 things off of that website across the whole time that it's been around.
Yeah.
Know? Whereas like, you know, so it's like very easy for me to be like, yeah, I don't use Amazon. But like DoorDash I've used for years, you know. So,
yeah.
I don't know. This is like the most first world fucking problem ever.
Yeah.
But.
And like I'm sure plenty of people who would listen to this will hear this part and go like, you know, what a couple of dumbasses, just don't do it. Just get in your fucking car.
And if you're thinking to yourself, yeah, what a couple of dumbasses, have you not listened to the previous episode?
Preaching to the choir, we know.
Yeah, we're here. Everyone knows.
Yeah. But that's just how it goes. That's just what it's like.
It is what it is.
Yep.
I'll quit you one day, DoorDash.
One of these days. For good.
For good.
I feel like we're gonna go over on the hanging out time. We got some juicy topics.
Well, that's fine. You know, you had a big one that you wanted to talk about. You want to talk about you've gotten into like sumo.
I have
Speaking
started
of getting in shape.
I have started watching. Felicia and I both. We have started watching sumo, like sumo wrestling. So Felicia was in the bathroom. I was like looking on YouTube just to find something to watch. And I had been recently watching videos on E Honda and Street Fighter because I was thinking about picking him up in Street Fighter 6. And that prompted the YouTube algorithm to go like, oh, he's into sumo wrestling now, I guess. Like, so
Yep.
I get Grand Sumo spring tournament, like March 2024 tournament, day 15 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, actual sumo? Yeah, sure. Let's check it out.
Yeah. See what it's like.
Yeah. And so Felicia comes in like when I'm like halfway through it. And so this was let me go back to the beginning. So I'm about to use a lot of Japanese words to explain how sumo works, and I apologize in advance.
I'll ask all the questions.
Perfect.
Because I don't know Japanese at all.
Yeah, I'll try to explain it the best I can. So, sumo, there's like rankings all the way from like, bottom tier amateur all the way to like the top sumo wrestler in the world. And where he resides, the top sumo wrestler in the world, that's in the top division called Makunoichi. And within Makunoichi, there are technically five ranks. Yokozuna is the number one, the top dog grand champion. There's one of them right now. There can be more, there can be less, but right now there's one. Below that is the champion tier, like you can think of it like the Elite Four, essentially.
Okay.
There's the champion, then there's the Elite Four. There's four of them right now. There can be more, there can be less. Below that, there's Sekiwake. Below that, there's Komusubi. And everything that I just described there comprises the Sanyaku, like the upper tier, essentially.
So it's almost like there's like divisions within divisions.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can think of it as like the upper floor, the lower floor. And the Sanyaku, which is, there's 1 plus 4 plus another 4, so 9. And then below them, they're still in the top division, but it's the lower tier of the top division, is called Mayagashira. These are your jobbers, for lack of a better term. They are ranked 1 east, 1 west, 2 east, 2 west, all the way down to there's a 17 east and 16 west, so like 33 altogether. So 42 wrestlers in this division.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm like frantically reading Wikipedia to catch up as we're figuring this out. But like we watched the tournament, like the last day of the tournament, and we were like, let's go back to the beginning. So it turns out, so the way that it works competitively, there is a tournament which lasts 15 days and happens every other month, odd numbered months. So
15 days every other month. That's a lot of tournaments.
That's a lot of tournaments. Yeah, like they're constantly, like they're either competing or preparing to compete. Like there's very little downtime as a sumo wrestler.
God damn. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens odd numbered months. So like January, March, May, July, September, November. And this was the March tournament we were watching. So every day, each wrestler goes up against one opponent, and then win or lose, you get a either it tallies up your score basically. The main goal is to get 8 wins or more throughout the tournament, because if you win 8, then you've won more than you could lose. That's a winning score, or a kachikoshi they call it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conversely, if you lose 8 times, then you've now lost more than you can win, and that is a makekoshi, or losing score.
So is it like a round robin type thing? Like you fight everybody, or
you don't fight everybody, but you fight like most of the people.
Okay.
The sumo wrestlers come from like different teams, like where they like, unless you're in the Sanyaku, like the upper tier, you live like with your sumo team and everything. Like you kind of 24/7 live and breathe sumo. And you're not allowed to go up against other people from your stable, your team, which to prevent collusion and stuff.
No,
like that.
totally. Yeah, you just never see that.
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, these guys are on the same team. Oh, and then the guy who needed to win won.
Yeah, go figure.
Oh, how did that happen? That happens like all the time in sports.
Yeah, so they've eliminated that. Like who knows if there's collusion between the stables, but like at least within the stable they can't do that. So
okay.
Yeah, so that kind of gives them some wiggle room in that point. But yeah, like throughout a sumo tournament, you're going to fight 15 opponents out of the, not including yourself, 41 others. So like, you fight a decent amount of people, but not everybody. And so, also your ranks, you go up and down in rank based on your last sumo tournament. So like if you say you go 10-5 in a tournament, like really good score, then you basically go up by your net wins. So like in this case, you have won 5 more than you've lost. So you're going to go up by about 5 ranks if you're in the Mayagashira tier.
Okay. And that moves you up from, say, if you were 16 east, you'd go up to 11 east?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Also, I found out the east and west doesn't have to do with where they live. It's like based on I guess East is just like a teensy bit better than West for some reason. I don't know. I'm still figuring shit out.
There's other words they could use.
I know this, yeah. I mean, it's worth noting, like, you know, this is steeped in like 1,000 years of tradition or whatever. Like,
so what? I'm an American, all right? And that means that I'm
Exactly.
allowed to criticize long-lasting culture.
exactly. Yeah, I don't get it either, but like, you know, I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, no, that's just how it is, I guess. And maybe I'm fucking wrong on that. And like, you know, our one sumo fan / Battle School Dropouts fan is gonna rip me a new one for it. Who knows?
It's just the longest comment we've ever received. Like,
Yeah.
Bakari was really fucking shit up this episode.
Yeah, doesn't understand shit.
He probably doesn't even know how to spell sumo.
I'm working on it. There's an M, I think.
Somewhere in there. I don't know.
Somewhere in there. Maybe it's like flipped over. It's a W. Who knows? Suwo. Anyway, so we start from the beginning. And I want to give like as quick of a recap as I can, because like there was just the narratives are forming like so quickly. Like Felicia and I had a favorite by like day 2, and these are all posted by the Japanese PBS, essentially the NHK.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like a public broadcast. They post like highlight reel, like, so it's like the tournament broadcast is about 2 hours. They condense it down to a half an hour, like just the fights and some commentary, all in like English commentary and everything.
Oh shit.
Yeah, super nice. Thing is, they delete them like a month or so after the tournament is, or less than a couple weeks after the tournament's done. So you can like, they'll upload it every day, like that the tournament happens, and you can watch along with it, or like save it till the end and watch the whole thing. But like you have to within that couple of weeks, otherwise it's just gone.
Huh. There must be some weird licensing thing.
I wonder, yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just like, I don't know, so people will be like encouraged to watch it as it's happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so you know, Felicia and I are like picking favorites and everything. Like I got really attached to this guy, Koto Nowaka, who is it's his first tournament as an Ozeki, the Elite Four tier.
Oh, okay.
His dad was a komusubi or a sekiwake, like 1 or 2 ranks below, and his grandfather on his mom's side was the Yokozuna, like one of the top grand champions. So his thing was like, I've been using my dad's sumo wrestling name like this whole time, but after this tournament, I'm going to change to my grandfather's name in hope of like getting to his level to like become the grand champion. And it's the first time in sumo history that like a 3 generations, grandfather, father, son, have all made it into that top division of sumo before, like the Zanyaku, which is pretty crazy. Like, they're like the Mishimas from Tekken, you know?
So for tournament structure, is the grand champion also fighting like the, say, 32 East or like maybe not that far down, but are they all competing against each other, or like who are the Elite Four fighting?
So the way that it works is like the lower half, like the Maegashira rank, like 15 will go against like 16, whatever, like whoever's closest.
Okay.
The upper ranks though will be determined by the Sumo Commission. Like, so it'll usually be like the Yokozuna versus like, you know, one of the Ozeki, or like versus one of the other top ranks. But like,
okay.
But yeah, like anyone's fair game as long as the Sumo Commission deems it so, you know.
Okay.
So there's like flexibility to it, but also they use some math to like, you know.
This is so wild.
It's really strange, yeah. Like
I love it. This is cool.
No, it's a lot to figure out on the go for sure.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and you're just diving deep into like a tournament. Like,
yeah,
like it's so funny. Like, you know, you watch like any kind of like esport or whatever,
yeah,
and you can piece together like how like all their tournaments work the same.
Yeah,
right? You start watching like, you know, basketball, baseball, like real sports. I said it. And it's like, okay, they each have their own weird structures, but this is such a fucking different thing.
It really is, yeah. And there's like, it's so, I think that's part of my fascination with it. It's just so unlike any other sport I've watched, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's really interesting because like if you can be like the bottom rank, but if you're on a real tear, like you've got a great score, you can go up against the grand champion, you know, because the Sumo Commission will be like, well, this guy's doing really well. Let's see how he goes against like tougher and tougher opponents, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it really does breed these like really interesting narratives and stuff like that, just like between the fighters and whatnot, or wrestlers, whatever you call them.
So let me ask the most important question here.
Yeah.
How fun are the matches to watch?
Super fun.
Yeah?
Some of them are over really, really fast, and like the like most the most like real drawn out, like super intense ones are like a minute. Like they're pretty fast.
They're pretty fast. Is it like best of 3 or is it like guys out, that's it?
If any part of you but your feet touch the ground, or if any part of you leaves the ring, you're done. That's it.
And that's it.
See you tomorrow.
Oh, so if you go 10 and 5, potentially you've at most competed for 15 minutes.
I would be surprised if any. I mean, like, you know, regardless of like if you won or lost, like you still. But like, I would be surprised if anybody did a collective 15 minutes. Like they're
That's
over hella
wild.
quick. There's some matches. So like the very beginning of the sumo like match is called a tachiai, literally stand meet, where like they the two wrestlers will like one of them will put his knuckles on the ground, and I can't really demonstrate this without lowering my mic here, but we kind of do this. So like one guy has got his knuckles on the mat like that, and the other guy will start putting his knuckles down. Like basically when all 4 sets of knuckles are on the mat, like down on the ground, it's go time. Like they just know to go.
Whoa.
And they just slam into each other, which I was like watching a documentary about it. It says like you can generate up to like 2 tons of pressure, like of force between these two, because these are huge, like 400-pound dudes.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
And it's also wild that like not only are sumo wrestlers like big dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like they look like chunky guys, but like apparently they're just in like really good shape.
They work out like crazy.
Yeah.
They're all very flexible, super strong. Like
Super strong.
there's still health complications that come with it.
Totally.
Like, diabetes is still totally a possibility, heart problems, all that.
Because don't sumo wrestlers only live to be like 40 years old or something like
Not
that?
40, like maybe closer to like Akebono, the first like non-Japanese born Yokozuna. He's from Hawaii. He actually just passed away a couple weeks ago, and he was, I want to say 57, and that's like a fairly normal, you know,
57.
like so, like yeah, late 50s, early 60s seems to kind of be the ballpark, which isn't great. Like I want to see sumo's like, you know, ex sumo wrestlers live like long and fulfilling lives and stuff.
Yeah, you know, live to be 72 like this guy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good a good mark to shoot for. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. Anyway, I was saying like there are, it's kind of seen as a dirty move, but is totally legal. Instead of standing up and slamming into your opponent with full strength, you can kind of just step out of the way, and the other guy goes just out.
Like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, literally. Like you just kind of oops, and they go flying. It's called a henka when you do that. And like people will be like, you know, not happy with you, but like that is still totally a win.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, and that match is over in like a second. You know? It's just
that's
done.
it.
So anyway,
That's cool.
It's so
That's
cool.
Wild.
Felicia got really into this wrestler named Ono Sato. He's kind of like a younger one. He's like kind of fresh out of college. He has his hair hasn't gotten long enough to do the traditional top knot yet, so he like has it just slicked back. And like so we're both kind of rooting for our boys and stuff. And like it kind of works perfectly because they were like struggling for second place for like a really long time, like throughout the tournament. And we're like, you know, just kind of getting to know the rest of the wrestlers and stuff like that. There's like 40 something, so you know, it's a lot. And around day like 5 or something like that, we saw a match between Mai Gashira, rank 17 East, Takeru Fuji, the bottom rank of the whole tournament. This brand new, this is his very first tournament. He put a guy down in a literal second. It was match start and he's just done. And he not only puts him down that fast, but catches him on the way down and helps him fall gently and then helps him back up. And we're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? That was so like effortless for him. What the hell? And that's when we realize this dude has won every match he's been in so far. He's 5-0 or whatever. And so we're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Oh.
Day 6 wins again. Day 7 wins again, and he's making it look easy. Like it's like he takes a walk from his end of the ring to the other end. The other guy just happens to go out in the process. Like, and he's doing it so effortlessly that he's making sure they don't hurt themselves as they fall and stuff like that. He'll like catch them by their sumo belt and stuff, and like make sure they're okay. And it's just like nothing. He beat my guy. He beat Felicia's guy. Made it look easy, and as these days are going on, he's going up against like, you know, because when you start, he's going up against like, you know, rank 16, whatever, people on his level. But before too long, like he goes up against Ono Sato, who's like kind of at the top of the jobber list, beats him no problem. Goes up against like a Komusubi and a Sekiwake, and my guy who's an Ozeki, the Elite 4 level, wins them all with relative ease.
Wow.
Right. And so we're looking at, it's like day 11 or something like that. He is 11-0. He has not dropped a single set or like match yet. He goes up against another Ozeki. I'm struggling to remember his name right now, but I want to say it was Asashoryu, but I'm probably wrong about that. Anyway, he goes up against him, and this dude is not having it. He fucking grabs him by the arms and throws him, like literally the guy goes horizontal as he goes flying out of the ring. He's like, not in my fucking house. The streak is over.
Oh.
But he's still in first place, like comfortably. So now it's like, okay, the king's been taken down a little bit. Can we see? Oh, I should also mention the grand champion, the Yokozuna, Teruno Fuji is his name. He had to drop out of the tournament because of an injury.
Okay.
This has been happening a lot, and apparently, like this next tournament in May, if he doesn't show up, stay the whole tournament, and perform, he's probably going to be asked to retire. Like, there's a weird like power vacuum going on right now.
Huh.
But anyway, not as important. So
no, I love
Fuji,
the. You got to know the drama behind the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He had like such a crazy. He was at the Ozeki level, the Elite Four level, fell all the way out of the top division, was considering retiring and was told not to by his coach, and managed to claw his way all the way back in and then make it to grand champion. Like, insane story. But doing so was like very taxing on him. So like, it makes sense that he's maybe at the end of his line, but it also sucks to see, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
good to go out on top though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Yokozuna is the only permanent rank. Like you retire as a Yokozuna, but like if you're not performing well, if you're not like fighting like the top sumo in the world, like they're gonna ask you to step down. It's just how it goes. But anyway, so it's day 12, I think. Takeru Fuji wins again. Day 13, I think it was. Hang on, let me get my. No, day 12, I think, is when he loses. So now he's 11-1. Day 13, he wins again. Day 14, now we're 12-1. The closest behind him, I think, is Onosato at, like, I think he's something like 10-2 or something like that. Like, close, but still not. Whatever the numbers were, it was pretty much like if Takeru Fuji wins one more, it is impossible to beat him. If he doesn't win a single match after this, the best anyone else can do is tie. But if you tie, then they have a playoff to see who wins. So like someone else can still come out on top if he drops these matches. So Takeru Fuji goes up against, I think it was Gonoyama, and loses. He gets pushed out of the ring. But not only that, he falls in such a way that when he's walking, like when it's time for him to get back into the ring and bow to his opponent, he is limping bad.
Ooh.
Like an ankle injury has occurred. It's rough. He gets wheeled out and rushed to the hospital. Day 15 starts. Takeru Fuji we see him like get out of his car and come to the stadium doors or whatever, and he's still like obviously kind of like not limping, but he's being very ginger with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is this going to happen? Because if Onosato wins his match and Takeru Fuji loses his match, then they can go like head to head. And if Takeru Fuji isn't in the best condition, he could end up losing it, which kind of sucks to see like this like crazy fucking streak happen and then go out like that. You know what I mean? So he goes up against his opponent. I'm forgetting the fucking names at this point. It probably wasn't Gonoyama who beat him. Whatever. There's a lot.
I can't fact check. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of names to keep track of here. But Takeru Fuji goes in day 15. Onosato does win his match, so it's possible if he doesn't win, he ties, and then they go head to head. Takeru Fuji, this is one of those like dragged out, like well over like maybe a minute plus, like real slobber knocker type matches, like back and forth, and eventually Takeru Fuji pushes the other guy out. First time in 110 years that someone has won their debut tournament like that.
Hell yeah.
Fucking crazy. Felicia and I went fucking nuts. We were like so invested in this, but like the fucking drop that I had felt when he like was obviously injured after day 14, like it was. I have never been that emotionally invested in a sport before, like ever.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, you're turning into like the boomer baseball guy who's like, yeah, all right, so Ricky Jarvis, he's got a hitting average of it's like listening to that, I was like, man, this guy. It sounds like you've been watching it for a while, and it's funny that it's just like. No, just like one tournament.
No, yeah, I've only seen the one tournament because that's the only one like that I had easy access to the footage of.
Yeah.
But like Felicia and I are like making plans for this new one. Like, you know, we got to find out what day the new Banzuke just dropped, which is it's the registry of who is what rank. So we got to see like how people moved up and down as a result of the last one.
Fucking funny that you guys are like, oh, new Banzuke just dropped, guys.
Literally, like it came out like yesterday. And we were like, I saw it and I told Felicia, and we like dropped what we were doing and started looking over like, oh shit, Nishiki only made it down to this rank. Oh, that's crazy because he had a really shitty tournament. Like there was one guy who went like 3-12 or something, like hideous rank or like just terrible performance. And we were like, is he gonna get relegated? Are we gonna see someone like drop out? But it turned out, yeah, he's still in there. But like, yeah, that's the level to which we are engaged in this at this point. Is like
that's wild.
We are in between tournaments, looking up all the stats and whatnot. It's cool. We've been watching
awesome.
We've been watching videos on like past sumo like figures and stuff like that. Like reading about like Hakuho, who was he's kind of the Michael Jordan of sumo. Incredible accolades. No one's done it quite like him. Really, really long and storied career, but now he's kind of in some hot water for like, you know, he's got not the best reputation all of a sudden.
Ooh.
This guy from the 80s, Chiyono Fuji, who was like hella small. He was like my size, and for a sumo wrestler, that's fucking tiny. And like was the Yokozuna for like a good amount of time, like managed to just, and it wasn't even like a lot of the smaller sumo wrestlers, they're like crafty about it. They're like, you know, use your momentum against you and like slip around you, whatnot, use their agility. He would just not let you push him out. He would just be like, you would get him to the edge, and that was like where he was the strongest. He would just be like, no, I'm going to push you all the way across the ring and get you out that way.
Well, there's that anime, I can't remember the name of it, but it's
Hinamaru Sumo.
Yeah, it's about a small sumo wrestler.
Totally. I would be willing to bet like some of the inspiration came from that for sure.
100%. Yeah. That's cool. I just, when I saw that he was like in the anime, like a small sumo wrestler, I was like, oh, that's a fun idea, but there's no way that's real.
That's totally a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think the character in Hinamaru Sumo is like too small to legally compete, I think is what they say.
Yeah.
But like he just doesn't let that stop him. He's like, oh, you know, maybe the rules will change. I'll make them change it, whatever. Like,
yeah, change the rules.
Yeah. Chiyono Fuji was like big enough to compete, but like only just so. Yeah.
Just over the tall enough to ride the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly 4'10" or whatever the tall enough to ride is. But yeah. Very long-winded way to say I've been really loving me some sumo wrestling.
No,
it
that's
so
awesome,
much fun.
dude. I'm actually intrigued now.
Yeah.
You know? You were telling me that you were watching sumo. I was like, oh, that sounds fun. But now that I've heard the tale, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I see the appeal.
It's so cool. Like there's so many different it's got kind of that pro wrestling appeal to it where like every wrestler has like their own story and their own background and their own like style, their own brand of sumo, like, you know, the techniques that they employ and stuff. It's like, it's fascinating. It's so easy to want to root for these guys because like it's just so interesting. I love it.
No, it's super cool. Yeah, I've always it's always had that it's always been something that's like I feel like everybody knows about sumo, but like I've never watched like an actual match.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll pull up a couple after that. They're very quick. So
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, maybe we should have watched that sumo anime.
Yeah, maybe we should have. Yeah.
Dang.
That would have really cemented this as the sumo episode.
Yeah, this is going to be so funny to go from, wow, sumo wrestling's really cool. But you know what else is cool? Tennis. Which tennis is cool. I like tennis.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, one-to-one, like one-on-one tournament based, you know. It's got some parallels. Yeah.
Yeah. I can dig it, you know. Everybody's got their signature moves and stuff like that.
That's true, yeah.
He's in Prince of Tennis.
He's got that, what was that British ass name of the...
a buggy whip shot.
Buggy whip shot.
Buggy whip shot. A tumbly biscuit shot.
That is a very Western European
it's
sounding.
It's a know what I mean in it shot.
So the Prince of Tennis.
Prince of Tennis. So as we teased in the beginning of the episode, we watched the first 6 episodes of Prince of Tennis.
That's right.
You want to give us just a brief summary on that guy?
Yeah. There is a 12-year-old tennis genius by the name of Ryoma Echizen. Echizen?
Echizen, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Something like that. Yeah.
Ryoma.
He's a 12-year-old. He's named Ryoma. He's the Prince of Tennis. He's the best who ever did it. Maybe, probably one day.
Well, or at least the second best.
Or at least the
he's
second
prince.
best.
He's not the king of tennis.
The king of tennis. His dad is the best who ever done it. But now he's a weird old pervert who reads the mildest swimsuit magazines I've ever seen.
We got to talk about the dad, but a little bit later. But the dad's quite the character.
Yeah. It's about a middle schooler. He goes to middle school. He plays tennis. If there is more to it, we haven't seen it yet.
Well, he's really, really, really good at tennis.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of the major thing.
Yeah.
His whole
second best to ever do it, probably. Maybe
in the beginning they say that he went to America and he competed in tournaments and won all 4 or whatever.
Yeah, so, in a year and a half.
Yeah, and it exists in that shonen universe where whatever the show is about, this is the thing that matters.
Everyone, yeah. If anybody in this universe doesn't care about middle school tennis, they're not around.
They don't exist.
We cannot hear from them. We don't want to hear from them because this is a show about middle school tennis. So even the adults in the area are like, did you hear this young upstart from this middle school is doing real good at tennis?
Yep. No, world conflicts are resolved by tennis, seemingly.
But played by preteens specifically.
Yeah, specifically, yeah. Whoa, he's getting a little old for the game. He's 17.
When's he going to retire? Let the Young Bucks have a turn. Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of those kind of I want to say I'm going to say by the numbers, but I don't mean it as a bad thing. But this is a by the numbers kind of sports show where the main person is incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And they're facing adversity in the form of mean other competitors.
Yeah.
Routinely he's facing somebody, but they've done something underhanded that he has to overcome.
Yeah, we were only kind of towards the end of it at a point where he was just playing against people who were actually just really good, and they were playing honestly, and they were just really good at tennis.
Yeah, just genuinely good at the sport.
Yeah. And I will say he's supposed to be this mystically good tennis guy, but the 14-year-olds. He's already running up against one. The next time on made it look like he was really getting a run for his money, and of course he wins. But he's not even at the world famous tennis academy or whatever. He's just at a school with a pretty good tennis program.
With a really good
that's the power scaling is weird here.
So the school is particularly weird because I'm sure they talked about it and we were just eating pizza or talking over it.
Sure,
but we never see them in the classrooms. We never see him doing any schoolwork or anything.
Oh, yeah.
We only ever see them practicing for tennis.
Yeah.
Right? You have the first, second, and third years at this middle school because in Japan, I guess freshman year is also rolled into what we call freshman year is rolled into middle school.
Yeah, Japanese middle school is 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and then high school is 10th, 11th, 12th. So it's 3 years and 3 years instead of 2 years and 4 years.
Yeah.
Or some people do it elementary school is 1st through 5th grade, and then middle school is 6, 7, 8, and then high school is 9, 10, 11, 12. But yeah.
It's so this is just a middle school. And that was the thing that was really surprising to me watching the show was that I'd seen clips from this show. Our friend Andy showed us or as long as I've been into anime, Andy has talked about Prince of Tennis.
Yeah.
And I always just assumed that the protagonist, just seeing their face or whatever, oh, he's 16, 15, something like that. And it's no, he's 12.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, okay. And then you watch the show, and yeah, he's a little guy. He's Yugi sized, essentially.
And
you
he
know?
remains 12 throughout the entire series, like 170 something episodes plus movies.
Yeah, we Googled it afterwards. There are on Crunchyroll 179 episodes.
Yeah.
And apparently a year passes.
Like less than it,
less
according
than a
to
year.
some guy
He's
on
a
Reddit.
year older in the second series,
Yeah.
right? That's a lot that happens in 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I
That's a lot of episodes.
I also remember that's like almost as many episodes as our no. I was going to say like 180 episodes. That's like more than there are school days, I think. No, that could still be right.
You only
Because
get
if you go you go 6 days a week in Japan. 6 times.
Oh my god, 6 days a week in Japan?
Yeah. And then you go to school like what, 40 weeks out of the year? So 6 times 4. Okay, so we're not quite there, but we're close.
Yeah, we're seeing every day of this kid's life.
Yeah.
That's
Which
funny.
it's got kind of a Detective Conan thing where like my friend is a big Detective Conan nut, and he like did the math like, so this is a show about a 16-year-old who gets turned into like an 8-year-old or whatever.
Detective Conan.
Detective Conan is.
Yeah.
And there have been more Christmas specials. Like there have been so many that like if each Christmas was a unique Christmas, and as we are led to believe, then like Shinichi should be in his 20s by now. Like it just doesn't make sense chronologically.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I have the same thing. I remember seeing pictures of Ryoma and being like, oh yeah, he's like 16, something like that.
Yeah.
So like I figured, you know, when I saw that he was 12 in what we were watching, I was like, oh, cool. It's going to be a Hajime no Ippo. Start at the beginning of middle school, and then we'll go through high school and then college, and then he'll be playing in like Wimbledon and shit. And we're going to see this guy like ascend to the very heights of, you know, great tennis or whatever.
Yeah. No, we are going to see him exceed to the heights of middle school tennis.
Of middle school tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, yeah. The first tournament he enters or tries to enter, I guess he shows up late. But
Oh yeah.
that was a 16 and under tournament, so like I guess he could have gone up against people a couple years older than the big dogs at his middle school.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know, maybe I don't know. I don't know enough about the future of this show to know, but it's a very surprising he stays 12 the whole time.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that too, because it's like I feel like this show rests right in between like Yu-Gi-Oh and Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah.
Like if those were two ends of the spectrum, being that they're both about competing, Prince of Tennis is right in the middle where it's like I don't feel like we're ever gonna get a training montage, but also this kid is like incredibly talented, and so we don't necessarily like need it.
I want it though.
Yeah.
It's we were talking about this in the last episode. Like, if you're too effortlessly good at stuff, then like, you know, kind of we were talking about this earlier today with like Yugi. Like he's the king of games already. Like it is established from the word go that he is the bestest best at any game ever. So like the only way you can make him struggle is to give him some sort of unfair disadvantage.
Right.
And that doesn't seem to be the case with Ryoma. Like he's really, really good at tennis, but he's at a place where other people are also really, really good at tennis and just as dedicated to it as he is. Like already he struggled a little bit against the guy we watched, and then the next one seems like he's going to be struggling even more. So like I hope he does have to work for it. You know, I hope that he trains more than, you know, like because we see him like go to the tennis place after school or whatever, and the girls he's like, I play tennis every day, blah blah blah. But like yeah, I don't know. I guess I do hope that there is some sort of growth beyond like he's just the bestest best and always will be.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think that there's something, because it's like obviously like he's struggling a bit, and in theory there's room to grow. But like the other thing that's interesting with this show, that separates it from the others that I just mentioned, is you spend very little time with Ryoma.
Yeah.
Like other shows like Hajime no Ippo or Yu-Gi-Oh, right? A lot of internal monologue, characters thinking about what they're doing or what they're competing against or what they're like going to do and whatnot.
Yeah, and like what they're working on, like the techniques that like Ippo, we see him learn to do an uppercut, and it's like, this is why you would do an uppercut. It gets past certain guards, blah blah blah. Like Yeah, we don't see any of that from him.
All of that comes from the external characters thinking about what's happening in the match.
Totally.
And that's really interesting because there's never like if Ryoma is having a moment of fear where he's like, excuse me, if he's having a moment of fear where he is unsure if he's going to be able to win, we don't know that.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just on like you're watching the match and you have to like just kind of feel like I don't know, it does lose a little bit of the gravity to me.
Yeah. I think like because you mentioned that earlier and like it made me realize like I can't think of another anime where that's the case. Like I guess Golgo 13 is kind of the closest one I can think of in that like he's like a master hitman and like we never really have to know in his head if he's going to struggle or not because he's always going to do it.
Tennis hitman Ryoma there.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. How have you watched much Initial D?
No, I haven't watched any Initial D.
Maybe we got to do that as an episode at some point because I've seen some, but it's been ages, and I feel like that's a show where all the internal monologue is from the characters watching the race.
Yeah,
but I could be so wrong. like I said that, and somebody might be out there just being like fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know? So I might be off on that one.
I feel like there's some like action anime where that happens. I could be misremembering. There's a show called Kino's Journey where it's about a traveling anime person and they're talking motorcycle named Hermes and they're like a gunslinging do-gooder type and they're like kind of always have the right answer and know what to do and like you know they pull off these cool action things and it's really neat and like you don't really hear from them too much but like it's they've got this sort of like I don't know enough about like westerns to name it. Is that what the Lone Ranger does? Maybe I don't know.
What a lot of Western protagonists do.
Yeah, like that just way too cool, like you know, cowboy who rolls into town and does the cool thing and then takes off into the sunset type.
Yeah, you kill the bandit and then you leave.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like very little question about like, is he gonna do it? Like he just he does it and it's cool. Yeah. It spins the gun, puts it back in the holster, and
gotta spin the gun.
Yeah, rides off into the sunset. And the ladies are all like, won't he come back one day? And then he never does, or maybe he does. I don't know.
Maybe he does. It depends on whether the movie made money or not.
Good point.
Yeah, he is kind of the tennis equivalent of that in some ways, right? Because up until the first 3 episodes are almost like Monster of the Week, but it's like Bully of the Week.
Yeah,
it's like here's a guy, he's a asshole. And now this incredibly competent tennis child is going to put him in his place.
Yeah, exactly.
They all underestimate him. They're all like, you're a first year, you're little, you don't know what's up. And then he's like, I've actually been using my not dominant hand to kick your ass.
Yeah. That
well,
is
he
how the
doesn't
first
say that.
goes.
Somebody else says it.
I did notice, and it just occurs to me just now. There's the lady, the main girl calls her grandma. I don't know if they're literally related or if she's just calling her old. But was she a PE teacher? Is she the club advisor? I don't know.
She is the most detached PE teacher that has ever existed.
Yeah,
she's never been around to tell the children to do anything.
No.
All of the children do what the upper class tells them to.
Yeah, the team captain is the one who tells them to run laps and stuff.
Yeah.
So she's just she just hangs out in a tracksuit.
Yeah.
She's just kind of there, arms folded, watching Ryoma play tennis, and she's like, he's the goddamn prince of tennis. I'm the narrator, and he's the best.
And and she seems to know a lot about tennis.
But the thing is, like, she's kind of the only one who knows about him. Even these other, like, really, like, because these other, the 14-year-olds at the school are real monsters, it seems like.
The reporter kind of does. And he...
Oh, yeah. He knows about his dad, too.
And they're using... He's going... Because what? He's like... he's Ryoma Ichizun. And his dad is... I'm not going to get the right name, but it's like
Nanjiro, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And it seems like whenever they were referring to the dad, they were using Nanjiro or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a disconnect there.
I want to say, and maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like the reporters didn't know who he was when they first hit the scene. And
I think so.
It was seeing him play so well that made them go like, who's this kid? Let's find out,
And the house that they go to interview the dad has the Ichizun name on it.
Yeah.
And his last name is Ichizan. Everybody calls him that.
I'm pretty sure that is
How
his
would
dad.
they not know if this guy is that good at... This guy must be, like, really good at tennis, but he played, like, 4 games and then just left.
Yeah.
Something.
Well,
like,
the
like, that has
reporter...
to be what we're going to learn, right?
Well, the guy said he was a big fan of him back in the day, which makes me
jeez.
think he wasn't, like, a small potato. But,
These kids
yeah.
don't know their history.
I don't know. Like, it makes enough sense that, like, the reporter saw the name Echizen or whatever and was like, huh, just like that one guy. Like, if I saw a kid playing tennis real good and his last name was Nadal, I wouldn't immediately go, that's Rafa Nadal's kid. Because, like,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what that kid... Does he have a kid? I don't know. I don't know his life.
This Monty Jordan seems really good.
Yeah, something like that. It's just like, oh, that must be the son of world famous this guy.
Yeah.
So like it makes, but like the PE teacher lady seems to be the only one who just naturally knows who Ryoma is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is he like the Prince of Tennis, or is he going to ascend to the Prince of Tennis, or is he only the Prince of Tennis because his dad is the King of Tennis?
Well, people call him Prince.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
Some of the girls do. So.
Yeah, but I think that's because they think he's handsome.
No, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. That could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is all like relatively small nitpicking we're doing.
Yeah,
here.
yeah. We're like, what? I'm picking apart the lore of Prince of Tennis.
But it's like the power scale, like it's just the shonen anime brain rot that we've got going on. The power scaling is weird. This feels like like a kid who's got potential and he's gonna make it to the big leagues one day because he's gonna try hard and believe in himself, and yet he's also the like this Lone Ranger super ultra badass tennis genius who like is world famous and everybody he's the super best. Like when the teacher lady goes like, huh, he doesn't understand that the prince has been left-handed and he's been playing with a handicap this whole time. It's like, why the fuck would he? Why the fuck would he? He's a random 12-year-old he's playing tennis against. Why would I know that? He's been playing with his right hand like fucking 90% of the rest of us.
Yeah. It's that's a good point. It's kind of a cake need it too kind of situation where he is incredibly talented and also incredibly unknown. And so yeah, like what do you ascend to from there?
Yeah.
And in these first 6 episodes, we don't really see much ascension. We do see an incredibly talented kid.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too is that like there's okay, so he's incredibly talented, and the thing I like is that he puts bullies in their place, right?
Yeah.
I love seeing a bad guy do bad things and then the hero shows up and, you know, shoots him in the gut or whatever.
Yeah. It's super neat that the way he resolves all these conflicts is by playing tennis. I think that's very fun.
Yeah, that all these people are like, you're just a dumb baby and I'm going to give you a shitty racket. And I'm going to, you know, throw a tennis racket at your face.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to just power through this. I'm going to be the Superman of tennis, essentially. And I think that's super fun. But I see what you're saying. I feel like because we have no character from him, we only have that he's incredibly talented.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not fighting bullies, I feel like some of the tension is gone.
Yeah, I feel like because we do understand that he's not the best in the world at tennis. That seems to be his dad, and also he's 12 years old. So really, like, there is some gap between Ryoma's power level and his dad's power level, and there could very well be many other competitors who exist in that gap, and Ryoma will have to overcome them as he closes that gap between him and his dad. That all makes sense, and that can be a compelling narrative.
Yeah.
We just haven't seen enough of the show, perhaps.
We've seen like what is 6 divided by 180?
A lot.
That's a lot.
Too many. It was
It's a
like
lot.
we've seen like a 30th of the show, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a big thing is like we've watched 6 episodes of a long running, you know, and that's not even factoring in the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And whatever it's called like the next Prince of Tennis or the something there. I think there's more than 180 episodes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I saw that there was like Prince of Tennis 2, Prince of Tennis, the next generation, or, you know, not that subtitle, but
Yeah.
you know, the something like that. And yeah, it seems like there is a lot of
A good amount of
I
Prince of
think,
Tennis out there.
Well, what we did is something that we would never just watch the first 6 episodes of One Piece. We would never just watch the first 6 episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and I think we did kind of
do that.
We kind of did it here.
Yeah,
we kind of watched the first 6 episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
I think that's like kind of why this conversation is has leaned the way that it has. Is like it's kind of impossible for us to understand where the show is going from what we've seen.
Yes.
So like so much of my thoughts are like, well, where does it go? Especially if we're not going to follow this storied career through like his many years as a tennis player, we're just going to see him be 12 and then eventually 13.
Yeah.
What can we do in that span? How do you make me care for 180 episodes plus? And I'm curious. I'm very curious.
I think, I mean, as much as we've been kind of picking apart the show a little bit, excuse me. I can see it. Like,
yeah.
I think it has it. While okay, I wish he had a little more character. I wish there was more of a building up and an arc a la Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah.
It scratched a very similar itch for me that I get from Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? Like it doesn't have the same tension that I love in Yu-Gi-Oh! But I do like that every time he goes up against somebody, he is the underdog, right? Like, you know that he's incredibly talented, but they build up the people he's going to play against as, like, these really great players, right? Early on, it's just that these people are older and bigger than him. But, like, when he's facing off against the Viper has a signature move that's really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And not only do you kind of see him do it a bit in the match, but there's the kid recording it and the other kids watch it and they go, oh, there's no way Ryoma's going to win.
Yeah.
Right? So even though you know that this kid is far too talented and all that jazz, they've built up the other guy so much that you're like, well, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
And they start every episode where Ryoma's on the back foot, you know, like they do like kind of like a cold open almost.
Yeah. They'll start from the middle of the tennis match and then we jump back to before the match has even started.
Yeah, it's like, you're already defeated, Ryoma, and I've killed your dad, and I've, set your house on fire, and then, go back to how that happened. And I do like that part. Like, the fact that, like, episode 6 ends with the data nerd tennis guy, and he's got his glasses on, and he's on his computer. It's like, the chances of Ryoma defeating me are 0%. It's like, that's so that's kind of great. like that's so absurd that I'm kind of into.
Ryoma's gonna win that. Like he's gonna pull it back and win it, and then the guy's gonna drop to his knees and be like, but my numbers, how could this be? It's impossible.
I ran the simulations. Well, and I think that's what I that's what I like about the show, is that, like, I think if it were more grounded, it would be just total garbage.
Yeah.
Like, just this grounded, characterless, talented kid, like, boo. But the fact that it is, like, almost like it's pro wrestling and you're rooting for the face. And I'm not crazy about that, but I see the appeal.
Definitely.
And I'm definitely feeling it while I'm watching the show.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you there. I've like in the past described in like sort of uneducated or like half educated about it, because like I've seen parts of Prince of Tennis in like future episodes where like it's batshit. Like the stuff they are doing far exceeds what is humanly possible or even like feasible. I think there's parts of like, I don't know, Kuroko's basketball, for instance, or Blue Lock or something like that, where it's like, the way that it's being done, the way that it's being presented is like it's not realistic, but like it's based in reality enough that like that's based on something similar enough has happened. The Prince of Tennis, by comparison, will be like, oh, this guy's special thing is he does a backflip as he swings his tennis racket, and that puts so much torque and centrifugal force on the ball that it moves in circles and it's impossible to hit unless you're the best. And like just dumb shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
that's fun. That's a great time.
Yeah, and I'm kind of here for that.
Yeah,
that like this idea of like these super people like playing tennis.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
and
like-
it's just like, yeah, this guy can, hit a ball at the speed of light.
Yeah.
It just, it's faster than the speed of light. It actually, Einstein can't account for it. And it's just like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's what he has to deal with.
Exactly. So I've kind of categorized sports animes in the past as like a Hajime no Ippo, where it's like pretty much grounded in reality, and like maybe we get a little stylistic with it, but like it all could happen. There's a Hajime no Ippo, or there's a Prince of Tennis, and this show is, if you could believe it, this is a Prince of Tennis.
This is a Prince of Tennis. Yeah, yeah. Because I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z, and whatnot, and it's like it was definitely kind of like reminiscent of that too. Where it's like, this guy could do what? Like,
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Totally. Yeah. No, I think that is a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
Certainly doesn't have to be realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm feeling it. And it's, yeah, I definitely enjoyed these 6 episodes.
Me too.
They all kind like the first 3 and the last 3 kind of blend together a little bit for me. The first 3 are just him like fighting bullies.
The bullies, yeah.
Yeah, which I liked. And then the second 3 are him fighting the Viper and building up to the tournament and learning about his dad and all that.
Yeah, there's...
We got to talk about the dad.
Oh, right, yeah.
Episode
5, 6?
Derail 6.
6
we learned about the dad.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the dad, that he's this... Somebody describes him, and I'm gonna misquote it, but like as like this old, drunk, useless pervert.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm headed. All right, cool.
Us in less than 10 years.
We
looked it up. He's 39. So.
Yeah. I know, that's right around
Which
the
makes
fucking
perfect
corner.
sense. Like, he would have had Ryoma when he was 27. That is
Yeah.
a totally normal timeline.
Yeah.
But it's weird how he refers to himself as an old man so many times. Everybody and we call ourselves old. Like, it still tracks. But like,
Still tracks, but
the anime puts a little extra sting on it, I feel like.
well, because I mean, we've talked about this a bunch of times, but it's always a weird thing in anime where they're like, "Get out of the way, old man," and the old man character in question is like 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
fucking Sid from Final Fantasy VII, Mr. Like, I'm too old to pursue any of my dreams anymore or whatever. 32 years old.
I'm older than that.
I as of next month, this month, whatever, I will be too.
God damn, dude.
Yeah. Jet from
So
Cowboy Bebop, 36. So we're getting there.
I'm almost there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun little method of self-abuse I've found is looking up old characters, like the old dad character in animes and games and stuff, and finding out that they're close to my age.
Yeah, what is the age, and I'm sure I'm past it, or we're past it.
Yeah.
What is the age where you are older than 90% of anime characters?
Oh, buddy, we are so far past that.
What is like 17?
Something like,
Yeah,
like
it's gotta
on
be-
averages, yeah, totally.
That's a funny thought to have.
Yeah.
Further cementing Battle School Dropouts as the anime podcast for old men.
You know one that really like hit me for some reason was finding out that I'm older than Misato from Evangelion.
Oh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody who's got access to watch our cameras on YouTube, watching me have like an existential crisis.
She is in End of Evangelion when she dies. She is 29, I want to say.
It kills me that I'm not only 4 years older, but I still don't have as stable of a job as she did.
Well, I mean, if you go enlist, I guess that might help you.
I just want to go work for the dangerous robot company.
I mean, look, if the fuck the military and all that, but like if they were dealing in giant robots, I'd be a little more tempted.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I was even like when we were trying to figure out what to watch, I was like, where's the mecha? Like, why doesn't Crunchyroll have mecha as a genre?
It is weird that it doesn't, honestly.
Yeah.
There's certainly enough animes to warrant a mecha category.
Yeah, nobody's if I went, oh, I like mecha at an anime convention, people wouldn't be like, oh, what?
Yeah.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a thing.
That is totally a genre.
Yeah.
I just wish there was one about the characters instead of the dang robots.
Instead of the dang. Anyways, let's talk about this old man dad.
Oh yeah.
The thing to talk about the old man dad is he is constantly looking through like Sports Illustrated bikini edition,
Yeah.
or swimsuit edition or whatever,
Yeah.
that they call it. And like that's his whole thing. He's like this old pervert or
Dude
whatever.
is living it up. Also, he is big chilling with his cat.
Yep.
And he's reading like bikini mags, just looking at pictures of ladies in it.
Yeah, and like okay, totally living the life.
Yeah. Just lounging about all day.
I get that this show has like, a very young audience, but there's something unsettling about how tame these like, illicit magazines that he's looking at are. Like there is a shot of a schoolgirl, long skirt, totally normal, just in the thing, and it's like
I don't know if I caught that one.
She's like, and that there's just something unsettling about the fact that like no cleavage. She's not like in a seductive position or something. It's just a normal, fully dressed girl.
That does make it like, yeah, especially her being a schoolgirl, like
in the schoolgirl outfit. And
or
sure,
maybe it's a model.
Anybody could wear that or whatever. So it's not necessarily like but it's like there's something just more unsettling about somebody going through like a magazine of like fully dressed women.
I've talked about this on the podcast before. There's like an extra level of pervert you have to be to get something out of something so unassuming as that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It comes full circle.
Yeah.
The one I remember was like he's there's a gal she's in like an oversized hoodie. Theoretically, she is in a swimsuit under it. Like, sometimes it's cold at the beach and you put your hoodie on.
Oh, yeah.
And like, so you can see like about 9 inches of thigh, like just kind of from here to here. And like the rest is like just a fully clothed person. Yeah. And that's like one where he has to hide they found me looking at my nudie mags. Like,
yeah,
I feel now there's the weird old pervert like looking at his books or whatever is like that's been done plenty of times, like Naruto for instance.
Master Roshi.
Yeah, Master Roshi, same thing.
Yeah,
I don't recall if they ever, maybe they do in Dragon Ball, but like in Naruto when Kakashi is reading his like his weird pervy books, they never show you what's in it, so like it's easy enough for you to imagine like, oh yeah, he's there's some nudes or whatever in there, but like I'm never gonna see it, so who knows. It's weird to see the stuff that the old pervert is looking at.
They explicitly show it.
Yeah. Several times.
Yeah,
this is weird.
It is strange. It's to the point that like it's almost like, why is it there at a certain point? Like, okay, you want him to be this old pervert. Okay, sure.
Fine, yeah, tried and true character trope there.
But then you don't want it to be too illicit because your target audience is maybe 12-year-olds or something. Okay, so then you make it normal. But then it's like, but if your target audience is 12-year-olds and you don't want to make it weird, why is he like this?
Yeah.
Like, you could take liberties.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, it was 2001. It was a different time, but I don't know. It's not bad. It's very funny. Yeah. What I want to want people to know is that I'm not upset about this. It's just odd.
I think it's I think it sounds like we're like CinemaSins dinging it and like saying all this stuff is bad. Like I think we both had a really good time watching the show.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just a matter of like it's from a different time or whatever, but like there's just some weirdness that like is kind of stuck in our craw a little bit about it.
So strange. This old man.
Yeah. And then he gets in a tennis match with the reporter guy.
I loved that. That was great.
And he keeps his left foot planted the whole. He never moves his left foot, and that is a show of how good he is at tennis, and not the other guy's lack of control. Because like the other guy could have just served like wide, and he would have gotten that point because it's just physically impossible to do that.
Yeah, that was like, okay, everybody else having like special abilities or skills or whatever is fine. The fact that this man cannot move one of his legs, like
per his own handicap, he's physically capable of it.
But but he's like, I'm gonna dunk on this reporter so hard, never move my left leg.
Yeah.
I haven't played a ton of tennis, but I have played tennis. You ask me to score a point on a guy who cannot move more than like one leg, I could do it.
Oh yeah,
I could do it. I don't care who the fuck they are. I can score that point.
Yeah. I can
by virtue of serving, I'm gonna get lucky enough.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm just gonna hit it far enough out of reach. Like this guy needs to have a fucking like 2-foot long racket in order to like make up for the distance that I can get on this guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a tennis tennis court is like, it's definitely wide enough that you could do that. And like, yeah, he so like I understand like part of the idea.
we're dinging this guy hard.
it's just that's such a.
It's too far.
You're showing us
far.
how good the king of tennis is. He's the prince of tennis's father. Theoretically, possibly the best tennis player to like alive, or maybe he was at one point or whatever. But the way that they show that is so fucking weird.
And it's like when he closes one eye, when he closes both eyes, totally fine.
Yeah,
I have no beef
that's
with that.
classic. Yeah,
but the fact that he can't move one of his legs, I'm like, there's just an area that you can hit, and they say like he's been making me hit the ball towards him. I'm like, what?
I guess if you the right angle and the right speed and the right spin on the ball, like I could see them just like explaining that.
Yeah.
But the reporter guy served the first game.
He served like the whole time.
He served the whole time.
Yeah, because I think they just played the one game.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Just hit it wide. Okay. I don't have that much control. I play some tennis.
Yeah.
I don't have pinpoint control. I couldn't do the thing where you hit the ball can or whatever. But I can control which hemisphere the ball goes into, right? I could get like, okay, he's standing there. Let's hit it over there somewhere. Somewhere in that general quadrant of the court. Let's do that. Maybe I'll fuck it up once, maybe even twice, but eventually I will hit it where I want it to go.
You have 1 in 5 chances to just hit it a little wide.
Yeah. There's plenty of like it was a thing that was cited like 70% or whatever of guys who were like polled. They asked them like, could you score a point on Serena Williams or something like that, and like 70% of them were like, yeah, I could totally 1 point, sure. And that's ridiculous. Like she would put a hole in you like so easily, like whatever.
Yeah.
But this I'm like,
but okay,
I could do that.
How? Because let me say this: Serena Williams would absolutely demolish me, right?
But if you stuck one of her feet to the floor,
yeah, if she couldn't move one of her legs, I feel like I could get 1 point, and that's all he needed in this episode. He needed 1 point.
Yeah, I'm not saying he should win.
Yeah, I wouldn't beat her.
Yeah,
I think if she had one leg stuck, I'd still lose.
Probably.
But I think I could get 1.
There's just a point where it's physically impossible for her to return the ball.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of her.
Yeah.
This isn't a judgment of her skill at that point.
Right.
It's a judgment of her inability to stretch like Dulcim.
Yeah. The fact that she can't do the Michael Jordan thing at the end of Space Jam is like, it's fine. She is incredibly talented. She just can't turn into a rubber person.
Exactly. Yeah. If it were Monkey D. Luffy, this is a different story.
Yes. Yeah. That guy could dunk on me in tennis all day.
Yeah. And then he gets his dander up. I can't remember why, but he like for the last point he returns the ball at like full power and puts a hole in the other guy's racket.
Well, because he's like, you want your son to be like you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're training him to be like you, so he can be a big star like you, something like that.
Yeah.
And clearly that hit a nerve with the king of tennis.
That does raise some questions. Like what was it that happened? Because they talked about how he like retired so suddenly.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, must not have dug the scene or the fame or something like that.
Guess not.
Yeah, got to watch another 173 episodes.
Yeah, so we got to watch another 173 episodes so we can find out what it's like when Ryoma does get to that level. Oh wait, he's still in middle school.
He's still in middle school. Still in middle school. I want to talk about a couple other things I really like about this show.
Oh sure.
I enjoyed the animation. Like, it is very clearly a weekly released show.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of reused animation.
Whole lot. But
I feel like they handled it well. Like they would put little twists on it, lots of little changes. I feel like there was enough style to a lot of things. Like one of the shots I really enjoyed was where a character is moving to hit the ball, and it would basically be like 4 stills of the player, kind of one next to the other, and then as it like moved forward, they become silhouettes behind them.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's like you only have to draw 4 frames of a character, but it flows in a way that you can read it. You can understand that they're struggling based on their face or whatever. And it takes a lot of time that they don't have to like add more drawings to. So I think there's a lot of like smart uses of animation.
Yeah, totally. It is most certainly like of its time, of its genre, like a weekly 2001 sports anime for sure. But like, I think it does that extremely well.
Yeah.
Like, I would have, if this was on, Fox Box at the same time as like, Yu-Gi-Oh and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, I would have eaten the shit up for sure.
Totally. Yeah.
They do the classic, like, we got an action shot and we can't be drawing the backgrounds every time. So it's just like a, blue and white blurs in the background kind of thing.
Yeah.
They did that better than a lot of other animes I've seen do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's so easy to point at the screen and go, oh, that's where they save shots, or that's where they save budget, right? There's a really great shot in the first episode where there's just a tennis ball going back and forth, and it's going so fast that it's like, only on screen for a few frames, and then they zoom in on some background characters.
Yeah, and they're just kind of standing there perfectly still, just watching the ball go back and forth.
And so it's like very little animation, but it's like fine. Like that's you know what's going on, and like I think if you had an interest in how to tell a story, but do as little animating as possible, which is not a sign of laziness as much as efficiency. I think with this show, I think this show is a good case study to watch.
Yeah, and I think like where it counts, like the action is still like very serviceable. I don't think there were very many times where like you'd see a character do a move or something and you'd be like, whoa, that was crazy. Like, like the last Jujutsu Kaisen season, like you see all this like crazy shit. Like, wow, how did they even, nothing like that. But I'll say like, we've talked about this when it comes to like CG cars in like anime and stuff like that. It's like, I can notice it, but like, it's not a big enough deal to like bug me or like make me think about it too much. Like I notice it and then it's gone and we've moved on and it's not like something that's sticking in my head. I think this is like a good show. Like this show is good at that. Like in the match versus the Viper guy, they use the same cut of Ryoma's legs running for like 2 episodes straight, like a really long time. They use it again and again and again, and like every time I'd be like, yep, there it is, and then the moment it was off the screen, I'm not thinking about it anymore.
Totally. Yeah, you recognize those things, but it doesn't really bother you. I think about something like Flame of Recca, where there were a lot of shots that looked rough. And I don't necessarily think they used a ton, if I recall, but either way, there were a lot of times where I was pointing at the screen, I'm like, their face is too small, their eyes are going different directions. Like, there's all these things, and I never had that issue with this show. It's like, I'm seeing the same shot again, but sometimes they'd put a twist on it. Or it's like, he's running, but it's half opacity over the tennis court or something, showing that he's working really hard or whatever. It's like, to me, that's efficient reuse of your stuff. Like, the show would not necessarily be better if they were drawing every single frame and having to rush those things.
That's a very good, very good way to put it. There was one thing, like character I noticed go kind of off model every once in a while, and it was the kid with the bowl cut. It just, sometimes the bowl cut looks like a normal bowl cut, and sometimes it like comes out to here like it's an umbrella. It's just his hair though. And like it was after the first couple scenes I saw him, I was kind of looking for it, just like every time he's on the screen, I'm like, it's different. I see it. But
he's also like a side character.
He's not important in this. I don't even know his name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if he has a name, to be quite honest.
I know he was in several episodes.
He was, him and the rest of the Peanut Gallery, just they are around to be impressed by Ryoma when he plays tennis. That's their entire role.
Yeah, they're there to be our audience here. It's like, oh yeah, he is doing good.
Exactly. It's like they kind of serve the purpose of like, in Yu-Gi-Oh, you've got like Yugi and Joey are the duelists, and then you have Tristan and Taya who kind of like serve as the color commentary. Like Taya will go like, what's going on? And Tristan will be like, he's playing the catapult turtle so that he can launch the Karibo into the flotation ring of the fortress or whatever the fuck that was. And she'll be like, oh, wow. And then, now as the audience, we understand that he's doing that.
Right.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Good to have around.
Good to have around. Absolutely. So, yeah, I enjoyed how they used the animation. By no means insane, but definitely like efficient.
Yeah.
Other thing I really enjoyed, music.
The fucking music, dude. So good.
Yeah, it is perfect of that era kind of music. But like we were talking about it. It's like it felt like all of the animators must have been like rushed. But like the music guy, they gave him as much time as he wanted.
Yeah.
He was just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. And like it was a good variety of music too.
Yeah.
Like there's some tracks that'll show up like repeatedly, like for certain moments. Like there's this like fucking Herbie Hancock sounding ass, like, keyboard and bass kind of song.
Yeah.
Like that'll show up once in a while. Or
there's the nefarious bass line.
The nefarious bass
the
line.
guys are doing something bad.
Yeah, when someone's about to play evil tennis.
One of the bullies is about to do some bad tennis.
Exactly, yeah. So we got that like real sinister sounding bass line behind him. Yeah. But yeah, no, there was like the music was like just far enough. I don't think there was a single track that I thought that I disliked.
Yeah, like it's all a little like cheesy in a way where it's like, okay, you're listening to what is clearly like synth saxophone.
Oh yeah, it's romplers for sure.
Yeah, but it's like I think it's fine, and I think it all is as over the top as the show is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel out of place.
Yeah, and I think like it definitely kind of adds a certain like atmosphere to it, like them, using the sampled instruments rather than, live recording or whatever. And like there's one person credited as the composer for the show, so like, it sounds like whatever he was able to work with was what they used. Every once in a while you'd have some weird like, there was that one song where at the very end of it did like the Soulja Boy orchestra sting like that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that. There's some parts that like were, I guess, a little distracting with how silly like the sound choice was.
Yeah.
But in a way that we thought was, funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I certainly wouldn't take away points for that.
Well, and to talk about the music just a little more too. In that first episode, there's like a in pretty quick succession. It's like Ryoma's doing good. The bully does something bad, and it seems like now he has an advantage, and then Ryoma gets the advantage back, and in that time it goes from like positive hero music, bad music, what's gonna happen, builds up back into hero music.
Yeah,
and it like builds up into it, and it's like, oh, whoa, like it didn't need to go that hard on this track.
It's as though the
nice.
tracks are like written for the scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not just like, oh, this is the triumphant music. This is the blah blah blah. Like it's actually timed out.
Yeah, like it makes me wonder, like, were these tracks like written in such a way that you could like puzzle piece them together and be like, okay, I want to go from like, nefarious bass line to triumphant hero, and like you could do it in a way that like felt natural.
Yeah,
because I never felt like a weird cut in the music other than the the dun, 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 sting.
No, I'm like maybe there is.
I don't know enough about music to at all get to that, but yeah, I was just really impressed by the music.
Totally. Yeah, no, me too. Like it's kind of rare that we talk about like just the regular background music on like, a show like this. But yeah, this fucking bangers. It's great.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time I'm like upset that it doesn't fit the tone of the show.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
That I'll be like, yeah, it's a good song, but
the fucking Flame of Recca like fight scene.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, you're killing it on the guitar, but like I feel no energy from this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the vibes were immaculate on the whole soundtrack. Like I would go to a Prince of Tennis concert. Like,
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go to Japan specifically for one, but if they're playing at the Golden One Center, yeah, I'll go watch that.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, it'd be hard to say no at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also, as you were saying, the sound effects are also really funny.
Totally.
Those are like stock sound effects.
Oh yeah.
Like 100%. Like when he hits the ball really hard and it like is gonna get past the opponent, it makes like the stock like explosion.
Yeah, when
noise.
it hits the ground behind them or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And they use the same sound effect every fucking time.
There's when he hits the ball and it goes real fast too, you'll hear like a stock like jet engine, like,
like,
Doppler effect kind of thing. Yeah, it's super funny.
Yeah. They did nail the tennis like pop sound
Oh, yeah.
from the racket,
Yeah,
That I really enjoyed.
I think it does help that like there's kind of only so many ways that can sound.
I would not be surprised if they played the same sound every time. It still totally works.
Totally. I mean, you can watch a real game of tennis and it more or less sounds like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I just had an idea. I want guess a future rival, like a future opponent for Ryoma. Like what's a wacky concept you could see them doing?
Like an original character here, or like
come up with a Prince of Tennis OC.
Ooh.
Like what's their ability?
Someone
What's
someone that Ryoma's gonna fight against?
Yeah.
I would have done Data Guy, but the Data Guy showed up. I think it would be, for me, off the top of my head here, it would be like a spirit tennis guy. Like, he communicates with the spirit of like dead tennis players.
Ooh.
And, like, harnesses their energy, but he does
It's like a medium.
Yeah, but he does it in an evil way.
There does seem to be some evil tennis, some tennis bastards around.
Yeah, these evil tennis bastards.
I love the Viper guy. He's like hissing all the time, and he's
he's
got the snake shot. It kind of bends a certain way.
When he's doing something like nefarious, there's like a rattlesnake noise. In the
Yeah.
background.
At one point he does a swing and his arm turns into a snake.
Yeah,
as he does it. That was cool.
That was great.
I love in sports animes and things when they do the sport but evil.
Yes.
Like the evil bike man in Yowamushi Pedal, or there's multiple evil boxers in Hajime no Ippo. There's like kind of a dirty boxer, and there's one who's just like straight up acts like a serial killer at all times.
Right. We kind of talked about that guy a little bit.
Yeah. Sawamura, I think is his name. And there's an evil Kuroko's basketball character. He like makes people fall over just by looking at him. Not sure how it works. His basketball energy is so intense that when they make eye contact, they're just like,
I can't deal with all this basketball power.
Yeah.
He's too baller.
It's too, his ball isn't life, ball is death. It's just put the death kanji behind him as he looks at them, and then
That's so good.
they don't actually do that, but they should. Hire me, Kuroko's basketball.
Time for that reboot.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm all for more evil tennis and evil ghost tennis.
What's your tennis OC?
Mine is so he's been training. He's from Japan, but he's been training in China for the last couple of years, and he is a Kenpo master and also a tennis master. And the main source of his power is he has perfected the art of like what they do in tennis, where they like yell as they hit the ball. You watch a tennis match, and they're all like, "Ha! Ha!" He does that, but like to an insane degree, and he like channels his ki or whatever into the tennis racket, and like I don't know what happens then. Maybe the ball just goes real fast.
Yeah, well, he yells so loud that the sound waves push the ball faster.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah,
and it probably like strikes fear into his opponents also, like how loud and boisterous he is.
I like it.
Yeah.
My heart beat out of rhythm because the sound wave was too powerful.
Yeah, I bet at some point he also does some like acrobatics or something like that. He'll like do like a back handspring to hit a ball.
Yeah, he'll like do a flip off the net, and it's like the net didn't even move. How did you get so much power?
Or they'll do like a lob shot like that's supposed to go over his head, and he'll like jump really high because you can do that when you're good at kung fu.
Yeah,
and then he'll smash the ball down super hard.
Apparently, you can also jump really high when you're good at tennis. Several characters jumped like 15 feet off the ground.
Oh yeah.
Like for some of these shots, like the guy who throws the tennis racket at Prince of Tennis.
Oh yeah,
is like 10 feet off the ground.
He's got like a serious vertical for sure.
Right, like that guy was a piece of shit, but that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's very impressive. Like
a running 10-foot high jump. That's pretty good.
Yeah, don't beat up a 12-year-old to win a game of tennis, but credit where it's due. That dude had hops.
You do gotta hand it to him.
You gotta hand it to him.
You gotta hand it to him. He did beat up that 12-year-old good.
Yeah, like maybe don't throw your racket at your opponent's face. That's a no-no.
Yeah, that's a bad move.
I love the one. Maybe it's the same guy. The one who no, I think it's a different bully. The one who his tactic is to lie.
Oh no, that was the same guy.
That was the same guy.
Yeah.
Like Prince of Tennis hits the ball and he hits it like long so that it'll just kind of barely stay in. And the guy's tactic is to go like, that went out. Actually, there's no referee. I can call that. And everybody's just like, it was in, but I mean, we can't. That's them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks.
He says it was out, so it was out.
His power is to lie.
His power is lying.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, maybe that's okay. I take it back. My Prince of Tennis OC is a guy who's so charismatic he can convince the ref to make the wrong call.
There you go. He like hypnotizes them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just such a sweetie that you're like, well, if he says it's out, he's probably right.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't lie about this.
He wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy, but secretly he's not. He's a bad tennis man.
Exactly. Yeah, I just feel like there's so much potential, and I think that it's potential that we will see, actuated, but like there's so much potential for wacky characters in this, and we're already kind of said like the snake guy is really funny, the math dude is really funny.
Because I just based on what you've told me and what I've experienced, it feels like there's going to be such an escalation in. It's like, well, it looks like Prince of Tennis will have to take this to the only ring that can contain our powers, the sun.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Playing on the sun. Still in middle school, but
Right. Yeah. Well, but now he's 13.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is a really fun show. I'm glad we picked this one.
Yeah, let's get into the reviews here, I think. Unless there's anything you want to cover there.
No, I really like Snake Guy.
Snake Guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's really fun.
So on Battle School Dropouts, we've got our review system. We've got Keep Watching, in total garbage. Where are you putting Prince of Tennis?
I'm a strong Keep Watching for sure. Like this could very well. I've said this about other animes in the past, I'm sure, but like this could also end up in like a watch it dubbed on my second monitor kind of thing while I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah, it feels very similar.
Yeah,
for me. Yeah, it's like I like what's going on, but also the animation, as much as I enjoyed it, is not so good that like something like Jujutsu Kaisen, where I need to watch this,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Keep Watching.
It's an excellent background anime for me.
My only asterisk on the Keep Watching is if it got to like a DBZ kind of point where I'm watching multiple kind of filler episodes in a row, I could definitely, that's where it would lose me.
I do have to wonder what a filler episode in this show looks like beyond just him playing tennis with a guy.
Yeah,
like maybe there's the occasional like him and girl go to the mall or something like that.
Yeah,
but it sounds like because like what is him playing tennis against bullies or whatever. But
that's
filler,
setting something up. I feel like if it was like I've got to go track down the perfect racket and he's just riding in a car and talking to characters for several episodes, I might be like, or he's just thinking about the perfect racket.
Yeah.
And other characters are doing things like, oh geez, I hope Ryoma's able to get the perfect racket in time. Oh boy, is Master Racketeer going to be able to build the racket in time?
Yeah, I would probably, if I ran across an episode like that, I would consider skipping it.
Or like he's in a tennis match for like 10 episodes, and like the tennis match he is like 2 minutes of the episode, and the other like 18 minutes is like characters talking about the match that he's in. That's where I'd kind of start to be like, okay,
yeah,
I'm losing it.
You know what? No, that's a good point, because the Viper tennis match like did kind of go a while.
It did. I think that's the extent of my attention span.
It's kind of like with brushing up against it.
Yeah, like 2 episodes, fine, because there's the Viper guy is talented enough that's like, how's Ryoma going to overcome this move?
Yeah.
if that was, say, went into the 6th episode, I might feel a little more wary about this show.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing is, like, it feels really long, but, like, they're also doing these games in montage. Like, we see there's entire, like, games of the set that, like, it'll just show, like, Ryoma wins a game, and then what's his name wins a game, and then Ryoma wins another one, and, like, so we, like, entire games of the set go by like that. Or, like, you know, we'll just see kind of, like, he hits the ball, and then 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 he hits it, blah, 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 go back and forth. Like, the unique moments, the, like, interesting plays and stuff like that, like, kind of happen in between, like, these kind of just, like, yep, it's tennis. They're hitting the ball back and forth.
Yeah.
And I know that that's what it is like to watch a real tennis game. You know, just most of it, just about all of it, in fact, is just two dudes hitting the ball back and forth. But still, like, that I'm wondering if the rest of the important matches are going to keep up that kind of pacing, or if it's going to change up or whatever.
Yeah, like if they're going to draw them out a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they're the big thing is, it's not the length of the match that's the issue. It's like as long as there's critical things happening in the match and the match is the focus, I'm on board. I'd watch all 6 or 7 games of that. As long as it was interesting.
Yeah. I think like my gripe about it is that like there were many parts where it just didn't feel like there was a lot of like uniqueness going on. I was just like, this is the part where they hit the ball. All right.
Well, you gotta hit the ball.
Yeah, you know what? You gotta give it to them. They do gotta hit the ball.
I liked Flame of Recca, but they never hit the ball.
That's true. I don't think anybody hit a ball.
Never hit the ball
in any fashion.
Not at once.
Look. I can appreciate that they got to hit the ball.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. I think I'd have to watch more of it to know what the filler is.
Yeah. It's a strong keep watching for me.
Yes,
but yes, I could definitely see ways in which like it's possible that I do fall off of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and I wouldn't bring this up with any other show necessarily, but the fact that like when picking this one, I saw it was 180 episodes. I was like, I can't ignore that.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot of show. Like, I'm 100 episodes into Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I feel like I have been watching the show my entire life. Like 100 episodes is a lot for me.
That is a lot of episodes.
For it to be almost double that is like...
That's, you know what? Yeah, that's a good point.
And then to know that it's only going to cover about 6 months of this character's life, I'm like, a lot needs to happen.
That is one thing that I'm kind of struggling to get past a little bit, like the fact that it's not, and like that's just me putting expectations that like I made up onto a show, but I'm like, damn, he stays 12 the whole time.
Yeah,
180 episodes. He's 12, the one less than a calendar year has passed, and we're still like, it's just difficult to expect a lot of progression in that time, but like. Again, that's just me making shit up. Like they could do whatever they want. It's fucking. It's a cartoon. They can,
Yeah, anything could happen.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely intrigued, and people seem to love it. So there's something here.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
I'm glad to have started to see what the hubbub was about. This is a cool show.
I'm beginning to understand Prince of Tennis.
We're beginning to believe.
He's beginning to believe. Well, with that, you want to wrap up this bad boy with some plugs here?
Yeah. Yeah, if you want you can listen to my music, Bandcamp, 8mammoth.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
Or you can go to twitter.com/8mammoth.
He does the opening and closing theme of the show.
I sure do. Yeah, that's about it for me. How about you?
Well, you can, I've got nothing really at this moment for me, but I do Battle School Dropouts. If you like this episode, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Podbean. Subscribe, like, all that jazz.
Yeah.
I think it boosts us. I don't know.
Probably.
Tell your friends. And then also, I think let's have some fun here. We're both wearing band shirts from our friends. I got some buddies in a surf rock band. Pacific Witch is the shirt I'm wearing. They're excellent. They've got an album. I'm going to mess up the name. I want to say it's called Relics Only, but I might have gotten that wrong. Great album, though. Go check it out.
Hell yeah.
That's on a bunch of different things. Who's on your shirt?
I'm wearing I've asked him how to pronounce it. Yesold. Yesold. Yesulde. That's our friend Peter, who will hopefully be on a future episode. he does cool guitar, like ambient, real laid back, relaxing type music. Good vibes for sure.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
He put out an album, I want to say last year, like early last year,
Yeah.
called "Please Stop Moving to Sacramento." I think it was called, and it's really good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want good vibes. I want good vibes from you. We were talking about earlier. Imagine Dragons, bad vibes.
Bad vibes. Bad vibes on Imagine Dragons.
Bad vibes.
They did the Kaiju number 8 theme song, which I don't really have a strong opinion about, but not a big fan of Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, we gotta do a future episode on Kaiju number 8.
Yeah, once there's enough episodes.
Yeah,
of the show.
I wanted to do it today, but there were 4
Yeah,
at the time of recording.
so almost there.
Yeah.
Maybe next month.
Maybe. Who knows? We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
It's our show.
It's our show.
Keep an eye out too. In July, we're gonna do our anniversary episode.
That's
we're gonna
right.
do a ranking of all the shows we've watched in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So get excited for that. That's always a good time. I've got my tuxedo shirt locked and ready.
That's right. Mine too. It's like I have that just hanging in my closet, and like every once in a while, like say I'm doing laundry or whatever, I'm like, it's the only t-shirt, and like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, that's for anniversary episode.
Yeah,
that's for special occasions.
It's too silly to wear on like normal days.
Also true.
Yeah. That as well.
I can't wear that, and I couldn't bear the idea of somebody seeing me in that shirt and going like, "What's the special occasion, bud? What you dressed up for?"
Well, let me tell you about my anime podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag this conversation even further into the ground. Just watch me.
I will say I have I feel like talking about your podcast is already like a social faux pas.
Oh yeah.
So when people find out that I've been doing a podcast for almost 4 years, they'll ask very politely, like, "Well, what is it? What's it about?" And I'll answer and I'll respond. But like, I do try to keep it brief. Like, I should try to promote it more, maybe. But instead, I'm like, it's an anime podcast. We just review 6 episodes. This is the name. Check it out. If
Yeah.
There
There is, and rightfully so.
I cannot bring myself to do more than that.
No, yeah, I'm exactly there with you. Like, rightfully so, there is a degree of shame, I think. like even people, like sometimes people will say, like, will mention to me, "Oh, I saw you have a podcast. I got to check that out," and be like, "Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
time.
it's a
I
good
like
time.
hanging out with my friend and drinking beer and watching anime. It's cool. It's neat. You don't have to. It's fine. You don't have to look at it."
I mean, I like this podcast. I want other people to like this podcast, but you know who the primary audience of this podcast is? You know, the people who matter in this podcast? It's you and me.
That's right. Yeah. We've said it before. We've already won by nature of having done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other measure of success is unimportant at this point.
Yes. Well, here's to year number 4 coming up. Yeah, and with that,
4 years.
I want you all to go out there. I want you to be the prince of whatever it is you do, but you should also try to be the prince of tennis.
Yeah.
Tennis seems to be the important
Go out and play some tennis. Play it with your offhand, and you better win.
You better win.
It's the important
Don't
part.
lose. Don't let bullies win.
Yeah. If you see someone getting bullied, if you see injustice in the world, you walk up to that person and you challenge them to a game of tennis and you whoop their ass.
You know what? Right now, I'm doing it. Putin, let's play tennis. I'll beat your ass, buddy.
See, if me and my tennis racket were there, it would have gone down different. You understand?
For all the marbles. You win, United States gives up. Comes the 51st state of Russia. But if you lose...
That was. It makes me think of what was it? Was it President? Was it Trump? I remember there being no. It was Putin. No, it was Putin. When the Ukraine stuff started popping off, and there was this like just this way too full of herself, like I don't know, some white lady on the internet talking about like if I had been Putin's mother, he would have turned out better or something. Like, you remember that? Yeah. I want to be that level of obnoxious, but like about tennis.
God, wow, I never had ambitions like this before, but to feel like I could have changed history by just being there.
But yeah.
Wow.
Because like when say like Mark Wahlberg said this about 9/11, if I was on this plane, it would have gone down different.
Yeah.
And that's like a typical macho dude. I would have, look, if it was me, I would have just beat beat their ass, dude. I would fucking no problem. That's just how I do shit.
I need to get that like overconfident white male energy.
That's right.
back, you know, I've lost it in the last few years as I've become more grounded. You know? It's time to become more obnoxious, more terrible.
That's it, exactly. Look, I gotta like Kendrick Lamar as of today put out a scorching a real heater of a diss track towards Drake, wherein he criticized his being a biracial man with a white mom. So I gotta lay low for a little while. Things are bad for me. I'm one of those, but also with an anime podcast. I don't even have Drake money.
Like Kendrick Lamar just comes for you.
Kendrick Lamar said fuck Bakari personally. Like I was like, wow, okay. I don't like Drake, but I don't.
Too.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't do anything to deserve this, Kendrick. Okay.
Kendrick Lamar just like pushed you into a puddle, dude, on his way to get somebody else.
Like literally, I was caught in the crossfire. I didn't just fucking. I got ran over on his way to fight Drake. So look, I can't quite come out that hot right now. I gotta stay in my lane a little bit, keep a low profile until the heat dies down.
You don't think we could release a similar Battle School Dropouts episode that could put Kendrick Lamar in his place?
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. We need to write we need to fire back. We need to write another diss track.
This is our 2-hour podcast diss track.
It's cool to be biracial, actually. It's not something to be ashamed about. I'm secure in my cultural identity. I'm not crying. I'm laughing, actually. It's funny.
The I'm not crying, actually, episode. Yeah, that's the next episode.
It's been a fun day on Twitter. I'll say that.
Good. Oh, well, I think that's a good end.
Yeah.